this is Gabe from the Wongoys. Naminaw ka sa pinakasubuanon nga radio station 105.1 TMC, the most Cebu.
105.1 TMC, the Wongoys. And being a good person, according to the Wongoys, is a choice.
Aba, matindi!
Ito ang takna karon 5 minutos nang nilabay sa alas 8 on this cold and foggy Monday morning. Medyo perting tugnaw agad rin. Ito ang kabuntagon sa Tops Media Center. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Thank you. Sit down. Okay ra. Reserve your applause when I do something, okay? So anyway, maing bungkag sa kanatong tanan. We're live on YouTube at Tops Media Center. I can see that. Thank you so much, Ron. I caught Ron having a meal. What something pamahani mo, Ron? Usa ka nang agdada. Ara ning Ron eh. Siya ra may kaon. Anyway, today is January 13, Monday. That means we have 6 days to go before Sinulog 2025. That's right. Gamay nila'y kuwang, sinulog na gyud. And of course, we all know, thanks to our beloved mayor, that Sinulog is back in its original venue, in its original location. It's back home at the Cebu City Sports Center. And of course, ang atong ruta, katopatong ni ato ang naandan nga ruta. So, maghinumdum po kasako ang mga laag-laag atong una sa Sinulog. In that route, kanang maagi ka og Mango Avenue, maagi ka og Fuente, maagi ka gamay sa, unsa tawag ng lugar sa sa Velez Street, I mean. And I'm not sure exactly where the route's at because sometimes magud ang ruta sa foot, by foot or people who walk, lahi na sa ruta sa Sinulog, di ba? Ang ruta sa Sinulog, mo man ang pasabot ana ang ruta sa parade, di ba? So, ikaw, kung ganahan ka maglakaw-lakaw, kung ganahan ka magsuroy-suroy, of course, dili ka mo lakaw-lakaw o magsuroy-suroy gamito ng ruta sa Sinulog na kay alternate route, di ba? Kay lahi man sad ang imong ruta. Hindi man ka magsayo-sayo gawas kung Sinulog dancer ka, lahi na po ng storya, di ba? So, kung Sinulog dancer ka, of course, imong ruta, mo'y ruta sa Sinulog. Pero kung dili ka Sinulog dancer, lahi mong ruta. So, that's going to be a lot of fun. Go back to the old route. Among other things, of course, daghan kay mga participation because nakibaw sila nga bago ang ruta ni balik sa naandan. So, daghan sa kay nangapil. So,
yo,
that's a lot of fun, yo.
check it.
Top of the morning, this is Jiggy Juice on 105.1 TMC.
Sayo sa buntag ni mata ko para school, ligodaan toothbrush aron ingnon ko og pool. Igit sa ang basura mura og si Jordan Poole, ang vibes kay wavy padulong sa Istanbul, pang international lang gihatag nga para sa inyo ha. Grabe ka kusog, ambak na sunata, mga granada nga giplastar sa akong bulsa. Kung pa'y kwarta wala pa'y pala ang pitaka, samtang lakaw-lakaw while listening to a song. Nitingog ang tiyan, huy wapakoy kaon, why kalibutan nga nagbaon ko og footlong, sugat og buang ana siya. Life goes on each and every day. Life goes on no matter what you say. Life goes on each and every day. Life goes on no matter what you say. On and on, yeah, listen to my soundtrack. Rapping like the GOAT by the name of Harry Mack. Never feel alone when I'm hanging in my zone, trying to break my ears with the banging of my headphones. Lugar lang, direct ko sa eskwelahan. Ano man, sa lugar nga nagay kong nakaunan. Tagay na naman, haton mawala na ang buwan. Pula-pusan, bigay para sa dagko-utiyan. Bounce pinalag yung kailangan na mo go home. I can feel my legs, man, I'm so stoned. Gibugos, ugmuka, ang mata, nga buwa, patay ko ani. Masapan ko ni mama, kaagi og tindahan ni palit ko og V-Fresh. Litsa ka jod, ako buto i-refresh. flesh. Nevertheless, nalinga ko I'm impressed. You says sa best na test, dili angay ma-depressed. Despite being stressed, impressed, always do your best. Look on the bright side, man, lift up your chest. When you're mourning the night, or your night the morning, dark days may come, but there will be a silver lining. Job goes on and on, the sun is shining. Everybody turning up, everyone is smiling. Raise our drinks up high, cause we fucking celebrating. Raise our hands up high, yeah, we fucking elevate. And life goes on each and every day. Life goes on, no matter what you say. Life goes on each and every day. Life goes on, no matter what you say. Life goes on and on. Die on and on. Life goes on and on. But die on and on. Life is special and life is gold. Dili angay magdili, steady lang ang soul. Saying classic on the road, you gotta get your own. The rappers I'm speaking, you gotta make big cake. Still in the making, but in my mind sing. Doing my fucking missions, is the life that I envision. They collabo day by day like it's a fucking celebration. In relation, never get too hard on yourself. You need to let it go and just let life flow. Free the spirit, pero buhi lang og limit. Lahos na sa bato para walay dagang storya. Bawat realidad gamit ang sensibilya. Inom dayon og tubig akong utok kay chill na. Subuton akong earphones ready na mo hinga. Trolling in my mind gipiyong ang mata. Duway ang barahan ya itinda ang kanina. Welcome mo tanan sa life ko natural. I'm a different breed lahi ko na animal. Sweet like Eminem, you can call me Marshall. Personal original, God is immortal. Life goes on each and every day. Life goes on no matter what you say.
Hi, Sam.
Pada sa ilusyon, ikaw ripat yun sa imong
Can you hear me?
emosyon. Ay pada sa ilusyon, ikaw ripat yun sa imong emosyon. Padayon.
Hi, this is Kid Human. Naminaw ka sa pinakasubuanan nga radio station, 105.1 TMC, the best of us. Ikaw ay mapansin sa may labot na ko ng buwan. Dili na ko tagdun na dinangalangin. Nabitaw ka sa akong atubangan. Namasing, dili mamansin. Kinsa man sa dit sumusugal. Huwag mo mga bumbog sa usang katugan. Kang ilobadi ay aning maibog mo. Mga ibog na dyan ko matino. Kasoning kasing-kasing mo nga ng sigla. Bantugla sa tunay di mabantayan kaya mutang bili ka gusto.
Morning, Roniel, Madrid. Can you hear me? Morning, Nathan, Andrew Navarrete. Morning, guys. One oh 5.1 TMC, Keith Human. Ibu kay Konimo. Ikaw. Maayong buntag mo diya.
Sanod. Pay or Jonas Yap, ibalira niyang pangano. Good morning to you, Rod Gikilian, Nathan Andre Navarrete. Morning, Ron Miel Madrid. And Nathan Andre Navarrete, si Buzzy Budlong, naminaw ka. Thank you so much for watching and joining us sa ato ang programa diri sa top of the morning at Tops Media Center. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Thank you for being a part of the show today, January 13, 2025. That's the year. Hi, Ron. Say hi to them, Ron. They can see you. That's Ron over there. He's the guy behind everything that we do. That's why everything works here. The only thing that he cannot, well, he kind of does influence it, is my brain. Otherwise, everything that you're looking at is courtesy of Ron. Dakang salamat, Ron, for making things work here at TMC. Anyway, atong hisgutan ko rubutanga kay gikan naman ko nag-host sa Cebu Marathon. Kung daghan man kaayog mga praises, mga good reviews, naasa daghang mga criticisms ug mga bad reviews sa bago lang yung nahuman nga Cebu Marathon 2025, which is celebrating their 15th year. That's right. Ika-15 na ni nga Cebu Marathon. It has come a long way since that day when they did it at IT Park. Nakahinumdum ko. I was part of the first few. It wasn't even called the Cebu Marathon back then. I think it was called the Sinulog Marathon or something like that. Anyway, I was part of that. And then, murag gamay pa kay Mr. Wa makaabot og usak gatos. O niya paghuman, ang tawag ani, megaphone pa ang gigamit o apay stage. So ako nga host, mura man tog megaphone pa ato ang gigamit ato siguro. Basta kay silang John Pahe, sila ni Kenneth Casquejo, sila ni Merrick, mura na akong mga nailhan daghan pa ni mga members sa Cebu Executive Runners Club. Kuan to sila mga grupo ram to sila mga maybe less than 10, mga kuan sila mga businessmen, mga executives. So mo nang gitawag sila og Cebu Executive Runners Club. Tapok sila, nagkunaw na sila nga tuod sa na may Boston Marathon, na New York City Marathon, na Singapore Marathon, na wala may Cebu Marathon. Ato ka nang organized sa. So mo to na nahono na anila, mo nang nasugod na ang Cebu Marathon. Nila ni John Pahe, sila ni Kenneth Casquejo, nilang ni Merrick. I'm sure I missed out a lot of the founding names of the Cebu Executive Runners Club, but you know who you are. So mo na siya. So karon 15 years after, naabot na og, would you believe, 12,000 runners kagahapon. Buting daghanag yun. Sea of humanity with one goal to finish the Cebu Marathon 2025. Of course, line sila og pananaw how the race went. So I'd like to know your thoughts, okay, about the Cebu Marathon and about the running scene in Cebu. Kanang mga daghan jud kayo hapit kada semana na ay Cebu na ay marathon sa Cebu. Dili lang sa Cebu, daapot sa Mandaue, sa Lapu-Lapu, sa asa pa ng mga lugar diha naagi mga magdagandagan, whether organized or not, right? So I'd like to ask you guys this very, very specific question. How do you feel about the running scene in the island of Cebu. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the Cebu Marathon? Ano sa man yung expectations di ay? Kung na ay mag-organize unsa tawag ni marathon or run, unsa man inyong expectations, unsa inyong ganahan may tabo, unsa inyong dili ganahan may tabo, and so on and so forth. So let's have that conversation properly, okay? This is your chance to talk about the running scene in Cebu, and of course, bago ra magid na human ang Cebu Marathon 2025. Let's talk about that too. How do you feel about that? Let me know your thoughts on the matter, okay? 0999-887-6070. You can just comment on my Facebook page, Jiggy Juice, or you can go to our YouTube at Tops Media Center. Okay, let's have a conversation about the Cebu Marathon. Well, it used to be called the Cebu City Marathon, but they wanted it to be more inclusive. So Gizrap Nilang City, of course, Cebu City is still the main city host, but so that it'll include the other cities of Cebu and the other municipalities, the other LGUs. Okay, moagim kita sa Lapu-Lapu, sa Cordova, sa Mandaue, and all of that stuff. Depende lang sa ruta sa Cebu City or sa Cebu Marathon. Anyway, I'd like to know your thoughts, okay? Comment it on my Facebook Live at Jiggy Juice, okay? And you can also join us on YouTube at Tops Media Center. I'd like to get your thoughts on the matter, okay? How do you feel about the recently concluded Cebu Marathon, okay? From 105.1, ang pinakasugbuanon, 105.1 TMC, the most Cebu.
6 days more to go.
Six more days to go before the Sinulog. That's right. We're also live sa Run Cebu page. Atong gihisgutan karong buntaga, January 13, Monday, 2025. Sa atong mag-anisay ta Sugbo. What do you think of the Cebu running scene? I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter, okay? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the Cebu Marathon, which is just a few hours ago? Congratulations, by the way, to the winners and to the organizers of said event, Cebu Executive Runners Club. How do you feel about the Cebu Marathon? How do you feel about the running scene in Cebu in general? Here's a band that performed live during the Cebu Marathon. 40!
So how do you feel about the Cebu running scene? I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter, okay? So maybe we can talk about the Cebu Marathon. How do you feel about it? Okay, let me know your thoughts. And maybe you can talk about a specific run, katong Cebu Marathon, yagi lang, bago lang ginuhuman, a few hours ago. And let's also talk about the running scene in Cebu in general, okay? Let us know your thoughts on the matter. You can listen to us if you want to listen to the show in its entirety with all the music and all that stuff at Tops Media Center. Run! Anika, ang ato ang website is up and running, right? Our website is up and running. It's live, our website. topsmediacenter.com, right? Okay. Pancha, running ba? Itong topic ba? Good morning to you, Jel Espina. How you doing, Jel? James Tesoro. Bibiano, bro. Sa may mong pananaw sa Cebu Marathon scene. Ano sa pananaw mo? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it needs improvement? What do you think? I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter, okay? Send us your thoughts on the Cebu running scene.
.1 TMC. To those of you who are listening to us on the website, Tops Media Center, that one is Troy De Gamo. Bago na gini siyang niabot. In fact, nakita mi kagahapon. And he performed live on stage during the awarding ceremony of the Cebu Marathon 2025. That one is a classic. Sus, dugayan na ng kantaha. Muna ginatawag ko Rain. Muna naitabo karong buntaga diri sa Tops. Pertig yung uwana diri, pertig yung kafagi diri. I don't know kung gauwan sa inyo diha sa inyong sulok. Bibiano, unsa man sa lapu-lapu na kuan niya nag-uwan po diha. Si Ethel Sis Gisabal. Dagingon siya nga, see you at the SM to SM run and the 7-11 marathon or run. Yes, I'll see you there for sure, okay? But let's talk about the recently concluded Cebu Marathon. I think it's important that we talk about it, but in a proper forum, of course, and properly assess it. So let me know your thoughts on the matter. How do you feel about the Cebu Marathon? Na may mga ngilad, nasa mga nindot na mga comments about it. Okay, nakakita mo ko sa social media. Grabe kayo. O niya, kaning grabe kayo ka positive, grabe sa kayo ka negative. So, o niya, in spite of all of the criticisms, in spite of all the comments, good or bad, the Cebu Marathon has continued to grow exponentially. Grabe kayo sa tanan. So, nagadaghan kada tuig. In fact, this year, almost, murag bas ka nilapas og 12,000 participants karong tuiga. So, it's just getting bigger and bigger. Despite or maybe in spite of all the criticisms. Nagadako gid siya. So they must be doing something right as well, right? Of course, nobody's perfect, so there's also something wrong as well. So one of the things that the comment ni Jel Espina is the shortage of medals. So I'm not familiar with that issue, and I'm not part of the Cebu Executive Runners Club. So I'd like maybe perhaps to ask for more time, maybe, if you want me to answer that question, because I don't know about the shortage of medals issue. Is this for the finishers medal? Is everybody supposed to get a medal? And maybe perhaps there's a way for them to be able to send you the medals in the future. Because I mag-organize man sa ko og ganing marathon sa niadtong una. In fact, I organized the at least I was part of the organizing group sa katong I think it was 2022, 2023. Gitawag na to og it was called the preparation run. It was so called because kato siya nga run mura og it was right before Ironman, I think, and it was also right before the Cebu Marathon. Everybody needs to prepare. I am aware of that problem kanang mahutdan og medals. Kaya of course kanang medals medyo mahal-mahal man na unya paghuman. Kung naay mga last minute nga mga registrants, dili na maihap, dili na ma-factor in, di ba? Yung kanang medals not only is expensive, it is also time consuming, dili man na mahimo ra dayon dali-dali, di ba? So kinahanglan gyud panahon. So kung mo register mo unya ang race kay ugma na for sure dili gyud mo mahatag og medal. But usually what we do is amo silang sutian nga pwede ra mo appeal pero why medal. In fact naman ako mismo, because I am just there, I participate in running, right, for the sheer love of running. Kanang mga pakapin, kanang mga medal, kanang mga banda-banda, mga entertainment, kanang mga, let's just say, runner's meal, pakapin na siya. I'm just there for the sheer joy of running, to be able to go to point A to point B in a relatively organized manner. Because I could do that myself. Pwede raman gud na magdagandagan ko ako rang usa, di ba? Pwede raman na nga magdagandagan ta sa syudad sa Cebu kita rang usa or magdatag grupo. Pero mas mayam gyud ang organized. Kaya number one, the sense of community. There's a lot of people with you, right? The sense of mura og na ay organization, na ay mga water stations, na ay mga race marshals, na ay mga cones, na ay partial road closure, so mas medyo safe ka og jutay. So anyway, my point is nga I run for the sheer love of running. Kanang mga medal pakapin na para nako. In fact, kadaghanan mo ingon ko nga pwede ra ko mo apil og race masigway t-shirt, masigway race bib kung mahimo, kung usually di man na mahimo sa, pero masigway t-shirt sir okay ra basta kay makadagan lang ko muna akong usually ako ang isulti labi nag-ulahin ako. But some people have different agendas. Some people have different expectations of running. So I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter. Ningon si Ethel nga na ako'y na istorya nga runner siya sa Cebu Marathon, pro karon wa na siya ni appeal kay naay mga di maayo nga pamaagi. Unsa man ni mga dili maayo nga pamaagi? Ethel, okay. Hi, is di ay tanan mahatagan Ma'am Jel. What is that? Did they promise that they'll give medals to everybody or what? Let me know, okay? Yes, importante good organize good naturally. Because like the Cebu Marathon, just like the New York City Marathon, just like the Boston Marathon, uh, it's a source of pride, right? And we want it to be as close to perfect as possible. Mo magid atong ganahan, di ba? So, mga criticism maybe it should come from a good place po, di ba? Ikaw mo criticize na ka for the sake of criticism mo magid ang social media. Usahay, di ba? Kanang social media, people just criticize for the sake of criticism. Kung ganata mo criticize, I think it has to come from a good place. It has to come from wanting to get better, wanting to improve. And in the same way that the New York City Marathon is not just a marathon or for the few, it's actually owned by the entire city. In the same way that the Boston Marathon is not just for the city of Boston, but also is a sense of pride by all of the Bostonians. And same goes with the Cebu Marathon. It is not just the Cebu Executive Runners Club. It's our run. It's everybody's run, right? So muna ang ato ang hunona ang good pirmi. But I'd like to know your thoughts, okay? Byron Barton, not a cause. And Ethel and the rest of the guys. I'd like to know your thoughts about the matter. How do you feel about the running scene of Cebu? And in more particular, how do you feel about the recently concluded Cebu Marathon 2025? I'd like to get your thoughts on the matter. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. 0999-887-6070, or you can chat with me at Tops Media Center on the tubes. On YouTube, maayong bungkag sa atong mga kaigsuunan nga naminaw sa ato ang YouTube channel, Tops Media Center. As we approach closer and closer to the Sinulog. Magbato ka ragod ani nga tahagod. This is a very interesting song from Damian Paniki. Anyong Bangkay. Mo di description niya ni Dante ilang vocalist sa kanang mga adis-adis. You can listen to the show in its entirety with music on our website, Tops Media Center. Okay? Maayong buntag sa ato mga kaigsunan nga nasa Facebook nako, Tops Media Center and Jiggy Juice.
Magulang mo ang patutunguhan mo. Ikaw ba'y nababato na sa mga sinasabi nila?
Ferdy, what's up, bro?
Lumapit ka, makinig ka, pag-usapan natin to. Di na tingin ang kulang kulit sa isa ko, hindi napapanig-panig. Panig. Di na tingin ang kulang kulit sa isa ko, hindi napapanig-panig. Panig!
Morning, Carlo Borromeo, sir. Good morning, Julius Cordelia. How do you feel about the running scene of Cebu, Julius? Carlo Borromeo, how do you feel about the running scene of Cebu. Mary Aloyapoy Carreño. Sa inyong tanaw sa Cebu running scene. Let me know your thoughts, okay? One 105.1 TMC, the most Cebu music. Damian Paniki, Anyong Bangkay, kani silang mga tawhana. Bago lang ni sila nagtapok-tapok og balik as a band. In fact, I just had a chance to talk to them lengthily in our show called Boxed In. And si Dante, murag mo man yung taga-gawas, taga-New Zealand, si Dante, if I'm not mistaken. Ibalik sila sa Cebu, siya sa Cebu, niya pa kung nagtapok-tapok, nagpo sila sa band, which is very interesting indeed. In fact, I think they're performing more performances. Hopefully, magkakita tanin nila sa Sinulog somewhere, okay? That's what I'm expecting you guys to perform somewhere during the Sinulog. I hope Dante, their vocalist, and the rest of the guys are listening to this broadcast. Anyway, atong isugutan karong buntaga, January 13. The year is 2025. Is kaning ato ang running scene sa Cebu. Kaya daghanan jud kay mga dagan-dagan, mga run sa Cebu. How do you feel about it? Not just Cebu City in particular, but Cebu, the entire strip, the entire island of Cebu. Dili lang kay Cebu ra, daghan sa kay mga run sa Bohol, daghan kay run sa Manila, sa Davao, sa Surigao, sa Siargao. So, dito man ko, daghan sa kay run. So kamo, sa inyong pananaw ni, how do you feel about the running scene? And in particular, kaya ito mga kaigsuunan karikanan ng paminaw na ito, taga Cebu man, how do you feel about the running scene of Cebu? And maybe even, we can be more specific, how do you feel about the recently concluded Cebu Marathon? Okay, but we're here not just to praise and to give them credit where credit is due, to give them kudos, that we are also here to constructively criticize so we can get better at whatever it is that we're trying to get better, whatever a measure on ang sukud sa anang napita sa pag-organize o event, right? Nga ato pang mapanindot, pa-organize pa nato, ma-improve nato, para this will truly become an international event. In fact, I think next year, Cebu Marathon 2026, it'll be like a qualifying event for you to be able to join an international race. I think the Boston Marathon or the New York City Marathon. Mamagihisgot ni Kunsihal Joel Garganera. So I'd like to know how do you think, you as a Cebuano, you as a part of the Cebu Marathon, because like I said, the Cebu Marathon is not just owned by the Cebu Executive Runners Club. It's owned by every single one who's ever joined, who's ever been a part of it. In the same way that Tops is every single memory, every single person that has ever been here. That's Tops. The idea, mo ang mga butang sa kalibutan. It's really about the community that it develops. Yeah, collective memories that have idealized nila ang usa ka lugar o ang usa ka event. Mo pa ng Cebu Marathon. It's owned by everyone that's ever been part of it, not just as a runner, but as an organizer, as somebody who's from Cebu. I think you're also part owner of that idea of a marathon. Kikiboka, I'm a proponent of everything is just a story. I'm sure my friends understand and know me, understand what I'm talking about. Like, I'm running, it's just a story, right? I mean, like, magdagandagan lang kasi mong balay, di ba? So may diferensya na magdagandagan kasi sa Cebu, right? But there's a sense of community. Magdagandagan ka together with 12,000 people. 12,000 people. Grabe kayo, lahi ra gyud. Ma-inspire ka, ikaw kung mudagan ka. For example, ako mudagan ko, yung mga Billboard Marathon, yung na ay somebody breathing down my neck. Sa akong luyo. Sus, mudagan ko, musok-usok kog dagan, oy. Mas mukusog kog dagan kay di ko gan mapsan and all of that stuff. So I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter. How do you feel about the Cebu Marathon in particular, and in general, how do you feel about the running scene? Maybe kung natin mga tigpaminaw sa Ormoc, sa Dumaguete, maybe you can talk about the specific running scene in your city. But sa ito ang dapit diri, let's just talk about the running scene in not just in Cebu City but in the island of Cebu. Si Carlo Borromeo, ang akong amigo, the running scene is good to promote health awareness for all ages. It's a great way for setting goals, bucket lists in life. And if you run with a group, it's more fun. Ang importante lang maayo ug hapsay sa pag-organize and pag-manage sa mga organizers. Mo ang gusto ni Carlo Borromeo. Of course, that's it, very important because organizing a run or organizing any event for that matter is not just multidisciplinary, but it's also multi organizational. Daghan kaayo ang mga tao nga inyong kinanglan tabangon kay moagi gud lain-lain lugar, lain-lain LGU. So lain-lain nga mga mayor imo ang kasturya, lain-lain nga barangay captain inyo ang kasturya, lain-lain nga mga negosyante, moagi kag CCLEX, moagi kag imong i-hold sa SMC side, daghan kay kag istorya na. And for everything to go right at the same time, to be able to click in all cylinders is in a possibility. Naginay mo palyar, naginay lugar, naginay dapit nga dili mo work. Daghan man kaayo moving parts, so to speak. That's why nga medyo nagpalayo na akong jutay ng organizing events kay daghan jud kay moving parts. Sometimes it's beyond your control. So, for example, kanang weather, o saan man na nimo pag-control ang weather. Kanang lapok, for example, saan man na nimo sabot mo mag-coordinate mo ni Lord nga. Lord, kanibilan sa ta mag-uwan, Lord ha. Karon lang adlaw. So na akong uwan. Saan ta ba nabi? Wa tay mabuhat yun. So mora nga lisod jud kay for all of the parts, all the moving parts nga mo dili mo palian na gid mo palian. But of course, we're having this conversation despite of that. We're having this conversation because we still want to improve
on things on the running scene of Cebu, right? Kay mga bisyon lagi ta ganahan ta nga world-class running event. And in many ways, of course, the Cebu Marathon is already world-class. Not 40 participants of 40 different nationalities, all from Afghanistan all the way to Vietnam. Purti yung daghanag mga runners, 12,000 strong, right? But of course, daghan sa kay improvements that we can make. So I'd like to know your thoughts. I know that we're also live at Run Cebu, ang Facebook page sa mga runners sa Cebu. Naapod tayong mga other running communities that I have shared this video live. So I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter. How do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? If you want to join the conversation, please, naragid mi sa Tops Media Center sa YouTube, or you can join me sa ako ang Facebook page, Jiggy Juice, at Tops Media Center. If you want to listen to the show in its entirety with music, you can go to our website, topsmediacenter.com. Okay? Ang atong programa, gitawag na to ni Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. And ang ako ang partner, si Justin Narvis. She's probably on her way here. Si future attorney Justin Narvios, who's actually also a law student at the same time. So, lisod-lisod gina iyang situation, but she's trying her best to be here every single day. Tutski Manayon Ababon, daghang salamat, sir. Carl Cadavero, thank you so much for joining me on my Facebook page, Jiggy Juice. Let me know your thoughts on the running scene of Cebu. And in particular, tell me about how you feel about the recently concluded Cebu Marathon. You know what? I hosted that event, so I have an idea how it went. And I host a lot of running events. In fact, I'll be hosting the SM to SM run, which will be held very soon Kani pong 7-Eleven Run, which is a nationwide event. Lisod sa ni siya i-organize. Dili sa ni siya sayon. So, and I have been hosting running events for a long time now. I don't want to divulge my age. So, dugay-dugay na sa ko na nag-organize o nag-run o nag-host o mga marathon, mga runs. By the way, just a point of clarity ba? Clarification. Kanang marathon, ang pasabot yun na. A lot of people probably know this, especially people who are familiar with the running terminologies. But for those of you who are casual runners, like I was, and I still am actually a casual runner, I could say, kanang marathon, ang pasabot na, kanang 42K, mo na ang marathon. Anything less than 42K is not a marathon. So mo na gitawag og fun run. Pwede pud ka mag-organize og half marathon. Kanang half marathon mo na ang 21K, right? So katunga sa 42K is 21. So mo na half marathon. Pero dili gyud na mahitabo ang tawgon nimo og marathon kung naa kay 21K marathon. You can call it a 21K half marathon or mingon ka og 10K marathon. Di na mahimo. It's a fun run. Mo na yung distinguishing mark na ang gitasun, ang gilayon sa dagan. So kung 42 kilometers, you can call it a marathon. So you can consider yourself a marathon finisher, right? Pero kung 21K rin mong gidagan ang event kay Cebu Marathon, makaingon ka naka-finish ka sa Cebu Marathon. Pero di ka na makaingon nga naka-finish ka og marathon. Sabot ka? I hope you know if you know what I'm talking about, right? Kaya mo man diferensya. Ang marathon is 42 kilometers. Ang half marathon is 21. So naman uban good mag-organize og marathon kunuhay. Gitawag nila ilang event og marathon pero di ka abot og 42 kilometers. So dili na mahimo. That's incorrect, right? I'm just stating the facts here. Atong takna karon 52 minutos nang nilabay sa alas 8. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. We're live at Tops Media Center on YouTube. We're also live at Jiggy Juice on our Facebook page and also live at Run Cebu and the other running communities everywhere. So it would be very helpful if you guys help me have a fruitful and have I should say, a constructive conversation about the recently concluded the Cebu marathon. Okay, let me know your thoughts on the matter. You can join me at Jiggy Juice on Facebook. I'm live now. Good morning, dia Mervin Sanchez, sir. Dakang salamat sa imong pagpaminaw. Ian Derek, Alexis Chong, Carl Cadavedo. Dakang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw. Atong gihisgutan karong buntaga, January 13 is the running scene in Cebu. Sa inyong paminaw sa running scene sa Cebu. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it need improvement? And if so, asa nga dapita needs improvement? Because like I said, I have been hosting marathons. I have been hosting fun runs many times. Unya, kaningan makibaw ko, I have an idea how it works, what are the things that they need to improve upon, what are the things that they need to maintain. Kaya ako, kanang host ka, ikaw mga mura kag tagaan og informasyon nila. Kay naam kay ipa-announce kung naay mga nawagta nga butang, ikay ipa-announce kung naay mga sakyanan nga ilang ipairog kay naay ganang mugawas, ikay sultian. Kung naa sila ganahan nga i-change, maybe i-delay nila gamay ang awarding or whatever, ikay paibaw. So I have I would say insider information about how the inner workings of a marathon or a run is. So I'd like to know your thoughts, okay? And I want to be able to perhaps help you sort of gain more insight on the matter, okay? Join me at topsmediacenter.com on our official website. You can not only hear me talk, which is what our listeners are listening to right now sa social media, but you can also hear the music that I'm playing because magtukar-tukar masagog mga music every now and then. So let me know your thoughts at Jiggy Juice on Facebook, at topsmediacenter.com on our website, and Run Cebu, maayong bungkag sa atong mga kaigsuunan sa Run Cebu. Kaning Run Cebu is a community of runners. Ning kadako gini siya sad. As a Facebook page of runners in not just in Cebu but all over the country, all over the world. Naganahan mo run sa Cebu. Kamo diya, unsa man inyong lugar nga ganahan daganan sa Cebu? What's the best part of Cebu nga nindot daganan? I'd like to know that too. Make that part of the conversation, okay? How do you feel about a particular area? Nga dagan kayo kong mga amigo nga ganahan mo dagan sa Sem Park, for example. Kuya, okay sa Sem Park. Ang rational ana kay ganahan ko mo dagan dito kay there's a constant reminder nga kung dili ka kaning aggressive sa imong health condition, wala kay healthy habits, basig mo join ka sa mga minatay dito. So usog di kumudagan kung ato kumudagan sa Sem Park. Plus murag usa ka tuyok diha. Correct me if I'm wrong, is 1 kilometer, right? Or something like that. So murag sayon kayo ipon ba pila ka katuyok, pila ka kilometro or something like that. Ganahan kumudagan sa Sem Park, ganahan sa kumudagan sa IT Park, ganahan sa kumudagan sa Cebu Business Park, ganahan sa kumudagan sa Cebu City Sports Center, which is now the site of the Sinulog 2025 back home. Daghang salamat nga nibalik ni kita sa ato ang original home sa Sinulog sa Cebu City Sports Center. So I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter. How do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? What needs improvement and what should we maintain? You know, a running scene is also part of the tourism industry. Kaya daghan kaayo og mga tao nga moadto og sa lugar para mo participate sa run. Na yung mga uban, daghan kay kog mga kailang moadto lang sila og Singapore para lang mo run. Of course, mga sag magdagandagan na sila magsurusuri lang na lang pud sila. Moadto og New York, moadto og Boston. In fact, ang akong amigo nga si Yong Larazabal mura og nanlibot na niya ang kalibutan sa pagdagandagan. In fact, he has run for each year of his life. Mura og nakadagan na ni siya og that's an incorrect statement. I think he has run as many times as the number of years that he has lived. Of course, I think he has run marathons all over the world over 50 times. Okay, I think I just divulged his age. Sorry, Yong. Kani si Yong Larazabal, moranig batanon pa kay gitsura kay mo ng run good makabatanon kuno na sulti pa nila tinuod ba na nga makabatanon na ang run. Sakto ba? Good morning dia Frederick Presa, sir. Daghang salamat sa imong pag-apil sa atong programa. Top of the morning mo na atong pangan sa atong programa. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice on this foggy, cloudy Monday. January 13, 2025. Ang atong takna karon alas 9 in punto. Alas 9 sa kabuntagon. Ani sa syudad sa Sugbo. I'd like to know your thoughts. How do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? Send me your thoughts. Join me at Jiggy Juice on Facebook. Maayong bungkag sa atong mga kaigsunan sa mga different running communities. Run Cebu in particular and the other running run Facebook page that are listening to this or watching this show right now. Top of the morning. Si Pierre Abelia. Beer running for a couple of years. Lahi-lahi ra jud ang mga race organizers and they have their own pros and cons. Sakto ka. Let me read the entire message. Di sad ka makatag-an sa panahon in terms of weather, participants, traffic, and security. For me, lain-lain jud trip sa tao. Some are criticizing the food, which is, I don't know why, for the shortage of medals. Kay usa jud na sa lapses. It's unavoidable pero with a preparation time given, I don't know what happened. Last time, ako na shortage sa medal kay ang 7-11 run sa Cebu but gipadalan raman sa dayon a week after. We all have our perspective jud sa event whether for the run, distance, grocery, loot bags, or kaon. So nagito yung mga own perspective. Thank you so much for your input. Piper Abelia mo na iyang input sa running scene sa Cebu. So naagyo yung mga lapses, right? Di na malikayan. Yeah, you mentioned nga ang 7-Eleven run gipadalaan na sila a week after sa ilahang medals nga wala na nadawat nila. So unsa man dili padalaan day sa Cebu Marathon, unsa man day ilang gi-promise day. Unsa man what did they promise? Did they promise nga they will give everyone a medal or not? Unsa man ilang, maybe you didn't listen to what or read what you were signing up for, or did they promise nga tagaan gyud mo og medals whether you finished at a certain time or not? I'd like to know that because I didn't read that part. I don't know about that part. Ato ang takna karon, usaha na ka minuto pa nilabay sa alas 9. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Si Onric Alunar. Daghang salamat, sir. Si Carlo Cabs. Maing bungkag ni Budia Carlo Cabs. Daghang salamat sa imong pagpaminaw sa atong programa. Top of the Morning is live right now as I speak. Ako si Jiggy Juice, the radio personality formerly known as Jiggy Jr. Ako nang gidrop ang ako ang Junior. Ilista na ko og Jiggy Juice. Si Kuya Magic mo nag-angga na ko ng juice na it had like a nice ring to it. Jiggy Juice. My job is to squeeze more life out of your day. Tama ng Jiggy Juice na ko. Ang akong show, dili na Jiggy in the Morning, kaysa atom tong sa lain itong estasyonan, it's now called Top of the Morning. Itawag na siya Top of the Morning because we're broadcasting from 2,000 feet closer to heaven here at Tops. Don Espina Villamor, sis, makita-kita matata Don, naunsa man ka, ngawam ka nito nga. Naunsa man atong sabot nga makita-kita, tanibalik na kasi muhang nasod or napaka sa syudad sa Sugbo. Did you come back for the Cebu Marathon? Are you back for Sinulog? I'd like to know. Don Espina Villamor. Yamaha Rider sa Tops Media Center sa atong YouTube. We're also live over there. Okay. According to Yamaha Rider, maing bungkag sa pamaol Jovi of High Precision 25K finisher. Congratulations to you, Jovi of, what is that again? High Precision. And all the HPD runners, Freck Soy, Lara, Guy, Carlo, Mayang, Zit, Beth, Corsan, ang nagpaaw sa pamaul. And to all the Montenegro family, daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw diha, mga sirs ug mga ma'ams. It is always a pleasure to know that you're out there listening. You have no idea how good that feels. Daghang salamat. And ikaw day Yamaha Rider, wali ka ni-appeal sa kuan day, sa dagan day, sa Cebu Marathon 2025. Nagunsa ram day ka. Natog ra ka, sus. Nindot yung kinang katog eh. I mean like, ako ang call time supposedly 11:30. Kaya ang gun start 12:30. Unsa ka ni mapagplano sa katog, right? Lisod kaayo. So natog suway mga alas 7, alas 6. Pordigod nga tog nga lawom nga katog, tugtog lang ba para lang haron lang ingnon nga makatog pero di gyud ka katog kay di man mo usual sleeping time, di ba? So mo sa mga challenges sa kaning run nga kinahanglan jud ka mo sakto og gatog pero lisod kayo kay number 1 siga gunahuna, right? Si kani si Don, mag triathlete man ni si Don. Di ba Don? Lisod kayo ihuna-huna og dili ka maghuna-huna sa imuhang event. Did you kakatog, right? A day before the run, a day before the triathlon, a day before the race, di ka katog kay siga gunahuna, right? So lisod yung kay katog. So muna usa sa mga problema sa running, especially if you're a runner kanang lisod kay ito kay excited kay kastanan. 42K unta pero dili man lechon kaon. Unsa man mudagan ka og 42K Yamaha Rider only kung ang finish line ikaabot mo sa finish line lechon. Ambot nimo. Aimee Abilianosa. Ingon si Don nga lisod jud kunot. Sakto jud ka lisod sa. Magunahuna ka og sa imuhang run. Di ka katog. Nya kay bawo man ta nga kanang katog mo manas usa usa ka pinaka-importante nga butang sa imuhang kahimsog sa imong pag-healthy, di ba? Importante gyud na sakto ka gatog na kanina nung event nga requires all of your entire body to be healthy, to be in tip-top shape. Kuwang ninong kagatog, which is kind of weird, right? But I'm sure the professional runners out there know what to do. Kita mga casual runners like me, I still don't know what to do exactly. Maybe I should sleep weird hours para kaya ko, like, although I'm not participating in getting mga Cebu Marathon and all of the runs, sige mo dagandagan sa Balayra o sa uban rang mga lugar like akong gi-mention kanina katong sa SEM Park, sa IT Park, sa Cebu Business Park, sa Cebu City Sports Center. Pero ako dili ko dagan, pero ako sige kog mataog sayo kay ako may host, masayo pa ko ninyo diha. So ako ang mga waking hours at akong sleeping hours murag medyo screwed up especially on weekends. So kamo diha nga mapahuway mo on weekends, ako mas busy nung on weekends, or not necessarily, the word is not mas busy, but ang akong weekends dili ko makarelax kay mamatama ko og sayo kayo. Like katong Cebu Marathon, alas 11:30 ko na ko ang call time. So nalate ko gamay ato kay sirad-an ko sa mga daan, pero natugog sayo ato ni mata kog mga alas 10:30 naligo ko, andam din ko. So yeah, how about you guys? How do you feel about the Cebu Marathon? I'd like to know your thoughts. Jing Fararons, maing buntag ni mo diha, maing bungkag ni mo diha, Jing. How do you feel about the Cebu Marathon and how can we improve upon it? How about you, Imi Abelinosa? Daghang salamat sa imong pagpaminaw. Join us in our conversation about the running scene in Cebu. And kung dili mo taga Cebu, maybe you can tell me about your place's running scene. Ang inyong running scene diya sa Bohol. Grabe sa kini, healthy sa kini running scene ng Bohol, nindot sa gayo. I'd like to know your thoughts on that too. Join me at Tops Media Center on our website, topsmediacenter.com, on our Facebook page, Tops Media Center, at Jiggy Juice on my Facebook page. Ang atong mga running communities diya nga naminaw, daghang salamat sir og ma'am sa Run Cebu. Running community na siya nga Facebook page. Maayong bungkag ninyo diya tanan. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw sa atong programa. This is called Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice, and my job is to squeeze more life out of your day. Jing, how do you feel about the Cebu Marathon? Let me know your thoughts at Tops Media Center. Yamaha Rider says, nakatog sila sa tiles sa seaside. Bahala ng basta guwafo o guwafa ang nag-host. Ang ako ang co-host ato, my same co-host here sa Top of the Morning, si Justine Narvios. Thank you so much for hosting and co-hosting with me. Also, daghang salamat sa mga volunteer group, especially Revo volunteer group. Kani sila ato ang emergency help. Kung simbako na ngilad nga mahitabo, na mga runners usahay nga ma-injured or dili makaginhawa or whatever. Nani sila, mga volunteer group ni sila. Headed by Jed Narvios and the rest of the all the volunteer groups. Ako mga kaili diya, daghan kayo. I cannot name all of them. Si John Solo, nakita ko niya gahapon. Si Jaden Narvios, ang ilapong igsuon ng lalaki. And everybody, daghang salamat sa inyong serbisyo. Like I said, kaning running, any event for that matter, is a multidisciplinary gini siya, multi-organizational, multi-LGU. Daghan juga ay yung mga moving parts nga kinanglan mo work for it to be considered a perfect. But like I said, nothing is perfect. Naam gyud na mo palyar. Lisod kaayo nga mudagan siya in all cylinders. May tatog pariharag sakyanan nga pila ra ka cilindro, pila ra ka cylinders, right? Pero ang kanang event, more than the number of cylinders in a car, for sure. So nagi mo palyar nga dili gyud siya malikayan. But of course, para ta maka-improve, we need to know how to make it better next time around. Let me know your thoughts. Join us at topsmediacenter.com, on our Facebook page, Jiggy Juice, at Tops Media Center on Facebook. and also Tops Media Center on YouTube. Mo kani akong gitanaw karon to my right. If you see me, mo tanaw ko sa akong right. Nagtanaw ko sa ato ang YouTube channel, mo tanaw ko sa akong left sa atong website, mo tanaw ko diha. Ikaw akong gustoryaan, Wing Quechon Pepino. Daghang salamat sa imong pagtanaw. It is always a pleasure to know that you're out there watching and listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice, and we're broadcasting here from above 2,000 feet, closer to heaven at Tops. Yes. Maing bungkag mo niya, Nikolai. Nagikan po niya siyang event si Nikolai, oh. Automoto. Anyway, daghang salamat Nikolai. Yes, I forgot. Maybe you can give me. I'm talking to my listeners on Facebook. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw sa ato ang Facebook page at topsmediacenter.com. Atong website, ako ang Facebook page, Jiggy Juice. Mia Chris J. Alforque, mayong bungkag diha Mia. Atong hisgutan karong buntaga is how do you feel about the Cebu Marathon? How do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? I'd like to know your thoughts. As we inch closer and closer to Sinulog 2025, I think tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, we will have Val San Diego live here in the studios of 105. Stay tuned, okay? Karong buntag atong gihisgutan is the running scene in Cebu, okay? Join us in our conversation at Tops Media Center on our Facebook page, at Tops Media Center on YouTube, at Jiggy Juice on my Facebook page. May buntag sa atong mga kaigsunan nga naminaw ug nananaw nato sa Run Cebu Facebook page. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw. Ang atong takna karon is 17 minutos ang gilabay sa alas 9. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. We're live in many platforms at Facebook at Jiggy Juice, on YouTube at Tops Media Center, on our website topsmediacenter.com, on our Facebook page Tops Media Center. Ang atoang co-host na sa Top of the Morning, Justin Narvios. May buntag ni Maria, Justin.
Hi, Jiggy. May buntag. Hi, everyone.
Naabot yung town si Justin.
That's my favorite,
Naabot yung town si Justin in town. Town sa Calooy sa Nimuday. Ganong ganahan mo kayo gamit ang word nga town. What does that make anything you say?
A sentence.
What does it make it? Does it make it better?
I don't know. I think it's just an expression.
Does it make it more sincere? Does it make it more empathetic? What does it mean? What does in town do? Kani si Justin Magod, mura na siya kaning yung way of speaking ba? Mingon siya, nabot yung town si Kuan. Dire town si Kuan. Ano mo town?
Town. I don't know. I think it's
Dili
just...
na town nga TWON na kaning LGU.
Town of the...
Town, in town. Meaning, unsa may direct translation na in English. Unsa man ang town?
Yeah, I remember we were talking about this when we were at the event yesterday.
Yeah.
But
in the Cebu Marathon, right?
Yeah. In most cases, when I use it, I think it's just an expression. Sometimes if I'm talking about someone else's situation and it's like it's quite unfortunate, then maybe when you say town, it shows that you're like trying to be empathetic.
Okay.
Like for example, someone who's passed away, and when I mention the news, I don't say like, oh, this person passed away, and namatay ni siya. Like it sounds so cold, so I say like, namatay taon si, or like something like that. Like I add it, I think maybe to make it sound a little bit more like I empathize.
Okay.
Pero on other sentences, there are sometimes which I noticed
namatay in town si Kuan na.
Or kanang na sick in town, na sick town si kaninga person.
Kaluoy sa in town ni Dodong, di ba?
Oh, like
anak di ba? Like kaluoy in town sa akong anak kaning naglisod or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think that's when like I do hear that, like when older
Yeah,
people say
yeah.
it like that.
Mhm.
Pero when I break the news or I talk about something that's unfortunate, nga
Okay.
dili ako ang circumstance, I notice I use
What do you mean dili imong circumstance? Wala na hitabo nimo, you mean?
wala na hitabon
Okay.
ako. Like for example, somebody passed away or somebody got sick.
Okay.
When I talk about it, it feels weird to just talk about it like, oh, this person got kani siyang kay nasakit.
Okay.
Nasakit
Okay.
akong
okay.
ana.
Okay.
So I feel like I don't know why I don't know why it feels natural to me to add town.
Town.
Oh.
In
Eh,
town.
Is that just
Pa-
me, guys?
pero-
Ka makarelate mo?
Unsa man ang
Context.
unsa man ang direct translation ng in
Sa
town.
town.
No, in town. In town man na, di ba? That in town is short for town, di ba?
Yeah.
Sorry. Town is short for in town, di ba?
Yeah.
So in town sa si
I don't know.
Justin.
I don't know what's the direct translation for that.
What a pity. I think, right? What a pity. Right?
Yeah. Pero imagine,
What
like,
a
we
pity.
shorten it so much said for ours, no?
Di ba? Murag what a pity, di ba? What a pity nang matay si Kuan, di ba?
Pero may kang guarapit, naman ang kaluoy, namay ang kaluoy. The in town is like a separate...
Di ba
Diba?
murag phrase mo na sa in town kaluoy, di ba? Mo man na siya?
So that's the complete one man
Oh,
unta.
oh, I
Okay.
think, right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like it works even without the word kaluoy. Like you can just say
In town.
kana si ano
So-
in town.
so what-
Pero basin maon ang complete.
So what happens to the word if you remove the kaluoy part? What happens to the
Yeah.
phrase, right? Does it become
Like alone.
less sensitive, less empathetic, or is it become more empathetic?
Maybe it's the same thing. I think it's just
Yeah.
like maybe it's derived from
Kay
that.
contraction naman na siya. I think pareha ko na ng mga it's, di ba? Kaning na, it is, di ba? Pero kung mura contraction na siya in town, kaluoy, mura gapoy na ba, di ba? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I think I can.
Anyway, in town sa nato, Justin.
In town sa nato.
Murag na stuck mo tani nga
topic.
topic. Murag quicksand ba nga? Dili ta kagawas.
Yeah, di sa kaka-move. No, because it makes sense. We were talking about it also the other day. Yang, why do people use that kan?
In town. But you got that from your
Yeah, my grandma speaks that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Like she always uses that.
Maybe because of experience, but maybe because she's been around for such a long time, she feels nga she's able to inhabit your feeling ba. So in town sa si Justin way too big, or in town sa si Justin galisod siya ang eskwela.
Okay.
In town sa si Dodong nasakit. Mura siya probably kanang in town siguro it only is reserved, perhaps, I'm not sure,
Okay.
to somebody more senior, older, because when they say in town,
okay.
they know what it feels
It
like.
makes more sense when somebody older
Yeah.
uses that.
because
Bitaw.
nam sila experience na.
Yeah.
So maybe it's for things nga you yourself have experienced. That I'm just making this up,
Yeah.
okay?
No. That could
Yeah, yeah.
that could make
Yeah,
sense.
for example, kanang in town sad si Justin ni dagan og 42K ng takiang. So pero
Okay.
you can't say in town if you've never run. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
you don't know exactly how it feels like. But of course you know how it feels like to be nagtakiang, right?
Nagtakiang,
So
okay.
maybe you can still say in town sad because kibaw maka how it feels like to be injured. Not
That's
as-
in the case of like an older person using it.
yeah.
Kay murag, it's the same thing like at town it's like when they talk about like an experience that someone younger has done. Pero do they have to experience it to be able to empathize?
I guess.
Empathize?
I guess because how could you say in town sad?
If wala ni mo na experience.
murag in town
What if wala ni mo na experience pero you just empathize with that? Like my grandma will be, for example mi sa street niya, makakita siya someone who's like struggling with poverty, like kanang a family nga ang mga bata, mga babies halos way sinina.
Okay.
Nakatog sa kilid sa daan. Yung mga siya nga
nangatog.
sa kaluoy in town.
Mm.
But she never experienced that kind of lifestyle, pero maka-empathize man lagi gihapon siya. So I think that's another instance nga. You don't have to experience it to feel bad
Yeah.
or feel something
or
whatever it is.
or maybe she at one point in her life also maybe we don't know maybe
Yeah.
there was a time when she felt like she knows how it feels like to be sleeping in the streets. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with your grandma, although I met
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
I
Although you met her grandma.
I never had a chance to talk to her. I tried to strike a conversation with grandma, but she's the silent type, right? Or is she?
Yeah, I'm not actually. No, she's not the silent type.
Okay.
I think the event that you met her lang, there's just a
Okay.
lot of music going on. So
Okay.
she'll
I'm sure nag-ingon siya in town sa si Jiggy.
trying to strike up a conversation with me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she thought that. Maybe.
So yeah, ang atong gisgutan karang buntaga before ta masaag, Justin, is the running scene of Cebu. How do you feel about the running scene of Cebu? Kay bago ra kita nahuman, it's barely a day, right? Less than a day. Few hours pa nahuman na ang atong Cebu Marathon, di ba? One of the crowning achievements of Cebu is to be able to organize the Cebu Marathon. This is one of the oldest and the longest running marathons in Cebu. 15 na ni katuig, right?
Yeah, 15 years.
15 years na
Grabe.
siya. And yeah, of course, as usual, like clockwork, dagang kay mga praises, dagan sa kay mga criticisms, dagang kaayog mga nindot nga gipangsulti sa mga tao after finishing the race. Napoy dagang kayong mga ngilan nga gisulti nila, dagang kay mga complaints, dagang kayong mga this and that.
As usual.
As usual.
With every event.
Yeah, especially when it comes to events nga participated in by this number of people. But imagine 12,000 strong with 40 different nationalities. So, ang nangutana ta sa to mga kaigsuunan nga naminaw na nanaw nato karon sa Facebook page, sa YouTube, and our website, how do they feel about the Cebu Marathon in particular, and in more general terms, how do they feel about the running scene of Cebu? Ikaw dia, Justin, you're part of Revo, right? And then you also mentioned nagka-appeal ka sa inyong Eagles Run katong sa Ateneo de Cebu, di ba?
Oh yeah, several years ago na to
Several
Jiggy.
years ago. So you're familiar with the inner workings of a
fun run.
A fun
or
run, right?
a marathon, rather, how it works.
And it is from a unique perspective from the Revo safety
Yeah,
health
lahi pod.
perspective, like what imong perspective, right? So based on your experience, Justin, as a part of Revo, as a part of an emergency rescue team like Revo, how do you feel about the running scene in Cebu?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I feel like, and I like how you narrowed it down to like my perspective of the running scene via Revo. Before I answer that,
Okay.
I just realized na I have experienced like the running scene through different lenses.
Yeah.
As a runner, kunuhay.
Okay.
I would say kunuhay kay gina-require man na sa school, no? Kana mo apil ka mga fun run, stuff like that. Like when I was still a student at Ateneo, we had to join the Ignatius Run. I think the last fun run I ever forced myself to join, there was one in CDU. So many years ago. So I'm sure, ask Von and Lorraine about it. I'm sure it's like katong for PE requirement bitaw. So
nagsigilam si CDU desa. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I went to CDU for college.
Okay.
And so lahi po ang experience as a runner, and for several fun runs also I used to perform and sing.
Oh, okay. Buang asang wa ka nakakanta katong sa Cebu
This
Marathon
time. No, which is also great, Jiggy, because
Okay.
naka-experience po ko because last Sunday I was able to co-host with Jiggy. I'm so thankful I did.
Yeah.
Kay first time sad nako to host
Okay.
a fun run.
Okay.
Which never pa sad nako na try,
Okay.
right? So again,
naka-pray naka og fun run wala pa.
wala pa.
Oh.
You gave me that chance. Kay gipa-pray ko ni Jiggy, guys. I did the prayer before the what
The
do you call
race,
this?
the
Before
race,
the
yeah.
gun start
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Which wala sad ko ka-experience ana as a
Okay,
runner nga
okay.
na prayer pud before
Okay,
kamuran kay you just
okay.
pray on your own.
Okay.
So then with Revo also a couple years ago when I was still kanang trainee ba.
Okay.
Part of the requirements is mo appeal man kag mga operations nila kung
Okay.
mga gig nila bali ba, and one of that was katong 7-Eleven fun run.
Oh, that's the biggest, one of the biggest also.
Yeah, that was I think 2022
Okay.
ko.
2022.
Oh,
okay.
dugi na kayo. It was
Okay.
there in Ayala Business Park.
Yeah.
And lahi pud ang thrill sa mga responders, no?
Yeah.
And
Oh.
the planning of that goes
Okay.
way back. And even though this year wala ko ni join as a Revo operative, and I was with you co-hosting,
Okay.
I was really able to see how my dad, my brother and sister, grabe kailang planning ani for several months
Yeah.
and several nights before last Sunday. Grabe kay sila magsigig meeting.
Okay.
Kay the thing about fun runs is that you have to, especially as a medical responder, you have to plan everything from like A to Z. Grabe gid kaayo, and you have to keep
when you say everything, what do you mean? Like what are the things that you plan about the most? Like maybe mention 3 lang siguro.
Okay, so like what I think the misconception is that the emergency responders just show up on the day of the event. They have probably ambulances, and then they're communicators, and then they have stations, different stations. But one of the things that people don't know is that even from the very details of planning which or which stations are closest to the water stations, for example.
Okay.
No, how are they gonna be able to bring ice for the runners? Kaya those things man you don't think nga provided ay na siya sa mga medical station, no? If mas sprain ka, mapangus ka kay tagaan day kag ice, no? So kani mga responders, they would they have to look and account for that. Magdalag mga eyes, and even as to kanang coordinating with the organizers mismo, asa sila muagi ang ambulance. Kay I remember that was an issue for Revo in past fun runs nga kung na emergency and the runner kay gets injured in the middle of the road, asa sila muagi. So for the longest time they pass behind the runners kanang ang ambulance would pass. Yang issue man na Jiggy is when they're listening to music kay they cannot. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
When they're listening to music, for example, kaya di man madunggan ng ambulance sirens and it would disrupt the run.
Okay.
So then, karon, what they try to work on good for this specific operation, I noticed, is that ang ambulances need to pass in front or in, how do you say that, Jiggy? Like, nagkasugat sa mga runners. Kay para makakita gid sila when they're on the way. And para maka-respond gid sila properly.
Okay.
Especially sa CCLEX.
Okay.
If somebody gets injured on the other lane, for the past fun runs, kay usually the organizers would not kanang encourage nga maglisod og labang-labang bitaw.
Okay.
So, but then, practicality-wise, you don't expect the ambulances to also do a full turn sa CCLEX para makaato sa pikas lane
Okay.
when someone needs it. So, again, what I'm trying to say here lang is that there are so many details that that are looked into, like when they plan these things, that I didn't know. If you're not in the medical team or if you're not involved in that, you wouldn't know good how much details they look into.
Okay.
Di ay para sa mga events like these.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a deeper appreciation for mga medical responders then in that case nga. Grabe kay sila ka-prepared di ay no to.
How about
to those
the Cebu Marathon? Unsa may mga injuries, unsa may mga events nga medyo needed the attention of Revo?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, my sister mismo, which I wish she was here, she's in class. So,
Okay.
grabe, she said at the end of the day, mga more than 20 patients ang yang na-cater.
Okay.
And that's just for her. So you can imagine the other ano di ay.
Unsa may usually ang condition nganong gitabangan man sila sa
Kay-
Revo?
Na ay permi so there's usually people nga exhausted, grabe ka exhausted, needing electrolytes that they can't move anymore. Na ay cases nga uban nga na ay mga shin splint pero ni pugos gihapon nga mudagan.
Oh my God,
So
really?
syempre,
Okay.
na injured. Na ay cases na napangos, the usual no, napangos na mga nasamad, nga umod, inga na ay one case of a foreign national nga
Okay.
I think one of our most kanang extreme na lang nga cases.
Okay.
And
Naunsa man siya?
na-dehydrate siya maayo. They
Okay.
found him on the side na sa CCLEX masiguro.
Oh.
Nga naghigda na lang siya sa ground. And
Oh my
nagtanga
God,
siya.
okay.
It's a Nigerian.
Oh.
No, Kenyan rather. Kenyan runner. Yeah, ano lang siya. He was like, I think he was covered in a blanket.
Okay.
Naluya siya maayo gyud.
Okay.
So then gi-insertan siya kanang fluids IV.
Okay.
So because we have doctors man said from I forgot which hospital nga nag-collaborate.
Was he unconscious or conscious na?
Conscious siya pero kanang conscious siya pero he was super luya.
Okay.
Pero my dad said it's a good sign kay pag tusok sa IV kay ni ano daw siya ni naguba daw yung naong.
Okay.
So that means okay good, he still feels pain. That means ano pa siya.
Okay,
pa
still
siya.
alive.
Yeah, okay pa siya. So moto that guy, he was super super luya taon.
Okay.
And then I think it was because I don't know if I get the details right, but I heard siguro the day before pa siya naikaon sa tuoy, naluya siya ba, something like that. So yeah, and we would always say in every operation, boring is good. So we would always pray nga in every fun run, why ma-injure, boring siya that all the responders lingkod sa kilid, magtanga lang. That's
Okay.
the best kind of
Okay.
operation.
Okay.
Pero in this case, sa Cebu Marathon, not quite. Medyo nabisigit
Yeah.
sila, no?
Kaning marathon, di ba? It covers a lot of space, di ba? 42 kilometers kuno
Yeah,
inyong ginaganan.
sus.
So daghan kay tanan dako kayo nga lugar ang inyong
Yes.
i-cover. So unsa man yun nagid mo station
Yeah.
per area para ma-oversee ninyo tanan, right?
Yes, several stations na
Mga
I don't have the numbers also of how many ni duty kaning sa
Okay.
Cebu Marathon. Pero daghan kaay silang operatives this time. And that's why they have to coordinate. We already have kanang murag vehicles for them. So for
Okay.
example, this ambulance station is in the middle of the city there dito sa one of the routes. So those who need to go there kay kalangan mo sakay gyud ato, like you can't also leave your stations.
Okay.
So akong sister was stationed there dito sa start gyud
Okay.
dito sa seaside dapit. My brother ambulance crew man siya. I didn't ask ra pud asa siya gi-station pero lahi po diha dili siya on scene medic.
So suffice it to say,
naka-ambulance
naamoy mga tao naka-station para
every station, yeah.
if there's something that needs your attention, mahibaw ra gyud mo.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Every and from start to finish na agad na siya daghan kay stay. Even if it's not like a legit station, there are operatives nagbarug raman. They don't really have like, there are times nga where they're stationed at. Mao na magdala sila mga camping chairs. They bring their own provisions.
When you say kaning mag-meeting mo before an event pa, let's say for example mag-meeting mo for the Cebu Marathon for example or any run for that matter, because ningon ka nga kinahanglan kayo daghang preparasyon and all of that
yeah,
stuff.
I didn't realize.
Dili ba nga inyong preparasyon mostly are the trainings, right?
Kana to.
Mo na siyang preparasyon. That's really the main preparation, di ba?
Yes.
When you say kaning mag-prepare mo for a specific event, let's just say for the Cebu Marathon.
Okay.
Unsa inyong buhaton? Do you scenario set?
Yeah.
Do you have, let's say, what if like 10 people at the same
Kana.
time need our attention?
Yes.
So mo ginana something like that?
Yeah. What I noticed that Revo does is that all year round, naman yun ay training. It's not actually training for a specific event, no? So, kaning ambulance crew na mo
But
and
situational
responders.
training, di ba?
Yes, it's always situational
not
training.
for an event, but for a specific situation. Kung may tabo ni
Simulation.
mo na inyong buhaton.
Yes, exactly.
You simulate the situation and then mo na inyong buhaton.
Yeah, and it helps because these
course,
fun
yeah.
runs ba, they
Of
just,
course.
na yung mga events nga mo pop up lang, oh, by the way, you're needed for this, you're needed for that.
yeah,
So,
oh.
they always have to be ready.
Yeah.
So, for that, for example, na mga instances nga, 10 people need your attention.
Uh-huh.
So, I've seen Revo, nag-training sila on how to indicate, with the help of our doctors, no,
Okay.
we're so thankful nga na aming mga doctors on board with that to
Daghang
help
salamat.
us practice that
Okay.
too. Kanang mga mag-triage, kanang murag i-divide nimo ang you divide your patients, I think, based on their like the severity or the kind of immediate help that they need.
Okay.
No, so na ay mga see, this is the thing, Jiggy, kay dili naman ko active sa Revo. I stopped Revo in a couple years ago.
Unsam ka hindi mo ka-active.
When I took my third year of college, wala na ko nag-Revo operative.
okay.
So si Jaden ug si Josh na ang nag-continue.
Imuha ng mga exoon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But technically, Revo is like a family affair man gid for us.
Yeah, of course,
And
yeah.
we're always very much involved.
Uh-huh.
Pero as a responder, wa nagid ko I haven't been active in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is that they prepare for multiple scenarios
Okay.
and they try to learn from past fun runs. That's one thing that my dad is very particular with. Grab after an operation, kaya they have another meeting na pod to assess where they went wrong,
Okay.
how they could have improved, how can they make the next, for example, marathon or next fun run, how can they serve more efficiently, mainga na ba? So I think that's very important also, not just
Yeah.
preparing for a specific event,
Yes.
pero what do you call that, Jiggy? The processing the aftermath ba?
Yeah.
How can we do it better next time?
Okay. So in case you're wondering who you're listening to Justin Narvis. You can actually also see her on our Facebook page, Jiggy Juice, and on our YouTube at Tops Media Center. Our website is topsmediacenter.com. The other voice, the male voice, is Jiggy Juice, and she's Justin Narvis, and the show is called Top of the Morning.
Yeah.
And atong gihisgutan karong buntaga is the aftermath, the post mortem, if you will, of the Cebu Marathon from Revo's perspective, from an emergency rescue team's perspective, right? So Mona si Justin, his dad is a founder of the Revo Cebu, and she is also part of Revo, together with her siblings, Josh and
Jaden.
Jaden,
Yeah.
right? So muna siyang atong perspective,
Yeah.
at least from her.
Very limited
Yeah,
perspective though. I'm so sorry.
That's not actually limited. That's a
Siguro mas naapay-
grabe kay na siya ka insider yun kay mo maguna kamo
Yeah.
kamo manggod kanang Revo kamo ang murag responders for the worst case scenario. Kay, what we want, diba?
Oh, yeah.
Is nothing to happen as far as the well-being of the runners. Right? Mo na gino objective
Boring is good.
To be
That's what
as,
they always
to be
say.
as safe as possible.
Yes.
Pero lisod kay na imposible kay na nga 12,000 ka tawo magdagan-dagan
Yeah.
nga wa gyud mahitabo nila.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So mo nang daghan kaayo ang mga gitabang ni
Cramps.
Jaden
Yeah.
napo kabok.
Mga 20 plus siguro just
Usar
for her
kabok.
alone.
So imagine how many multiply that by the number of people that had to attend to somebody. So putik yung daghana siguro atong nga mga
Oh, yeah.
kinanglan sa inyong tabang, right?
Yeah.
Fortunately, nothing serious happened. Ang pinaka-serious
Yeah,
lang
thank
katong
God.
nakuyapan nga African, di ba?
Yeah, the
Sa
Kenyan runner.
Maybe ganahan nagpayahay ng siguro siya, kaya yahay ka sa CC Lex, di ba? Di ba? How many of you can say nga nakahigda-higda?
Nakahigda ka sa CC Lex?
Nakahigda-higda ko sa CC Lex. Basig, wata ka ba, di
Basi
ba?
mauna
Di
yung
ba?
paso.
Mo yung gibuhat siguro, di ba? Sa muka.
That's funny. Basin.
Yeah. So, kamo dia.
Nag-chill ra di siya.
Kamo dia ang mga tigpaminaw, tigpananaw
Yeah.
nato. Unsa man ninyo hang tanaw? How can we make the running scene of Cebu better, right? How can we make
Yeah.
the Cebu Marathon better? I think that should be it.
Yeah.
I think that should be the way we phrase our questions pa. That should be the way when we ang problema gud karon, Justin, is
Yeah.
ang social media dali kayo ka makareact.
Okay.
Yeah,
people are empowered man that way nga. May platform ba?
Na mahitabo nga dili to your liking, imo ding i-post, di ba?
Okay.
Wala pa
Mo comment.
wala pa na nahuman gali.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Kana bitaw mga butang nga wala pa nahuman, wala pa hasn't seen the light of day. You know what I mean? Pasabot wala pa panahon imong gipaagi ba. Sometimes makorehian ra man na.
Okay.
Usahay, di ba?
Yeah.
So, most things actually just require a little bit of time for you to understand. Ngano magyud ni maybe ikaw kuwang kag information, di ba? I told you about how sometimes anger comes from just ignorance,
Yeah,
di ba?
ignorance.
Maybe
Okay.
nasuko ka kay kuwang imong information, maybe kuwang wa ka kibang inani day ni.
Yeah.
Inana day na,
So you're
di ba?
saying after every event, sometimes it would help to have that perspective
Yeah.
na maghuna-huna ka kanang
What-
how did they murag you have a deeper understanding also ba of instead of magsaway ka, musaway ka kay
Okay.
you understand sad siguro giun sa din na nila how do
Yeah.
they do this, what are the complications there, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of reacting right away.
Reacting mo post din ka ba?
Yeah. You know, I'm interested, Jiggy. Kind of opposite man good tayo. You have, that was my first time to host a
Okay.
fun run.
Okay.
You know, that's my first time to experience that. Nga.
Okay.
Ikaw jud ang, voice behind, ikaw ang mic behind the event itself.
Yes.
But ikaw, you've done a bajillion
Bajillion, okay.
bajillion fun runs
Okay.
naman gyud.
That's a
Do
new
you-
number, but yeah, I'll take that bajillion.
Yeah. Is it like, for the Cebu Marathon, for example, was it for you just like, just another usual fun run that I do like every other month? Or was there something like new to you this time?
This is really close to my heart because number one, it was Cebu City Sports chairman John Bajes who invited me to run. It was this was a long time ago. I should say more than 10 years ago. Ningon siya, "Jig, dagan diri oh." Like, this was one of the first few marathons of what we now know as the Cebu Marathon. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think it was called the Sinulog Run or something like that.
Back then. Okay.
Nga sa IT Park pa ni siya. Unya, kaning inko nga, kapuyan na dyan. Oy, it's not my thing,
Mood.
man.
Kapuya.
Kapuyan, oy. Like,
Same.
Ingon siya nga, di ko kamata na. I was giving him excuses ba?
Unsa man siya?
It's a pokawon ka na ko, Jig. So, true enough, gitagaan ko ni og race registration, gipukaw ko niya. So,
Sige na, run na ta.
maikog ko si John Paez gunang nagpukaw ni mo, di ba? So, niadto ko ni run ko. And ever since then, I've always been into running. So, I thank him for giving me the opportunity to run and to experience running. Now that I have experienced it, I was addicted to it. And I kind of still am still running now, but not necessarily in organized running events. So that's number one. And number two, I've seen this baby grow from infancy to what it is now.
Grabe.
From like I said again, mag-megaphone pa mi ato.
Yeah.
O niya paghuman kaning
And then now-
wa kaabot og usak gatos kabok runners karon 12,000 runners
Yeah.
from 40 different countries. Are you kidding me? Grabe jud kay ang growth ni ba exponential gid ba? So mo na siya nga, it's really close to my heart. So yeah. And that's why I love the Cebu Marathon. That's why I want to be able to keep on improving it as well. Kani sila, ang organizers gyud ani nila, katuto silang mga Cebu Executive Runners. Na grupo called Cebu Executive Runners. Kani sila mga executives, sila mga entrepreneurs, mga businessmen, mga CEOs and mga presidents and all of that stuff nga nagtapok-tapok na sila kada buntag or kada weekend sa IT Park, I think.
Okay.
So or somewhere, not necessarily at IT Park. So nag-decide sila nga they witnessed the Cebu Marathon, the Boston City Marathon, the New York City Marathon, the Singapore marathon and all this. So I'm going, why don't we have our own here?
Yeah, why don't we make?
So that's why they decided to make.
Opo man sa Cebu, like you mentioned, other cities have those big marathons.
Yeah.
With like,
Wala man na. So that's why they started organizing it and all of that stuff. So that's why it's different for me.
Yeah.
It is now 9:44. Ang ato ang takna karon na dinhi sa syudad sa Cebu. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice.
ooh. And my name is Justine Narvios.
And si Faye Marison Mojica is watching us on our Facebook page.
Hi,
Si
thank you for
Junjun
joining
Mercado,
us.
si Robin Rolls. Usarang mood ka kamera amo ang telepono. So usara ka na inyong makitaan si Justin Narvios na inyong gitan. Dili na si Jiggy Juice basig na ibong mo nitaas akong buhok. Dili na si Justin Narvios na siya.
This is me. I like how you're very specific. You're like, guys, if it's the female voice,
Okay,
the female voice is Justine.
No, dili ba ang pasabot ko ang video ba. Kay ako magi-point ang camera nimo karon so
Okay.
makitaan ka.
Is it working?
Kani ba?
Can I be seen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I thought you meant sa atong live stream.
Makitaan magkikita may nganong asa man usa ka camera nganong nawagtang man ang camera.
I don't know.
Ron, asa man ang hulagway ni ko ni kinsay nga ni
What's
Justin.
hulagway?
Imong face.
Okay, that's what it means.
Hulagway.
Hulagway?
I think so.
Yeah.
Ang ato ang mga kaigsuunan sa YouTube Tops Media Center. Daghang salamat. Yamaha Rider and everybody there. Si Junjun Mercado is also watching. Hi, Junjun. Daghang
Hi.
salamat.
Thank you so much.
Atong hisgutan karong buntaga is how do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? And specifically, how do you feel about the Cebu Marathon 2025? I'd like to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
the matter. Kaya ka na magong running sometimes, Justin, like all events, tama kayo mga expectations, di ba? And I was telling them earlier nga, ako, pwede rin yung white t-shirt. No, what I mean is, di ba, usually a registration includes a shirt, di ba?
Yeah.
I don't really care for that. Although,
Unsa man imo ha?
just
I like the shirts.
the
collecting them.
sheer joy of running.
Oh,
Mora gyud na
okay.
siya. Nga organized nga medyo safe, mas safe kung ikaw ra usa magdagan-dagan, di ba? Kay na revo kay kaso makuyapan uroy ko si Justin
Yeah.
mo rescue nako.
Not me, but the other operatives.
or
no?
whoever
The more
is-
trained one. The legit one.
Basinog mosamot ang akong condition ko si Justin.
Basing siguro.
Basig dagan ko niya legal advice siguro, right?
Patay. Walay gamit gid ya gyud.
o niya paghuman so but na uban like you in fact a lot of the runners mutanaw sila sa shirt first guwapo
I'm like that.
guwapo ni
That
nga
is me.
guwapo ni nga shirt
Uy,
da
nindot sa shirt yun.
appeal
Ganda
tani
yun.
nga
Yes,
run di ba
yes, yes.
or guwapo ni nga medal da
Or,
Di ba?
nindot ang mga sponsors da. So that
Yeah.
you already know at the end of the event,
or
uy, sponsor ani kay kani nga brand, ganahabi ako ani nga brand. Sige.
or na akong crush da
Kana pod.
magpa-impress ni ka mo dagan-dagan ni ka di ba
Biscuit.
O na-
Nya ma-injure dayon.
na ako di ba uban mo nang uban nga naay ka ng artista di ba kay mudagan si Piolo Pascual di ba so
Yes. Mo di magpa-register.
magpa-register kay didagan
So that's from the perspective of a runner mismo. Like,
lain gid og tuyo ba
yeah.
ang mga runners.
Pero na-impress kay ko, Jiggy, no? A lot of the people that I saw sa run and
Okay.
a lot of them that were featured bitaw sa kang Sir Caloy Ramirez video. He had a same-day edit man niya. Dakan siya gi-interview. Diba? Nga, murag, how many years have you been running? And a lot of them are, how do you say, returnees?
Returnees, yeah.
Return runners ba?
Okay.
It's so impressive how like most of them were like, I've been running sa Cebu Marathon since 2013,
Okay.
20, nga.
Uh-huh.
It's become like something that they look forward to every
like
year.
a tradition.
Yeah, tradition ba?
Mo na siya. That's why
Indot kayo.
this is akin to sinulog. Kaya some of them, a lot of them actually offer their running to Senor Santo Niño. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So-
How does that work? What do you mean like offer their running?
Like, like
the hardship that they put into
yeah,
the running?
something like that,
and,
yeah. Maybe they offer it to
Okay.
whatever, right? And also
So it's tied to their faith, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also strategically a week before Sinulog. So some of the tourists that are here, musay-sayo lang silang ari.
Appeal na lang po sa fun run.
Appeal lang po
Part
sila.
na sa ilang fun.
Exactly.
I mean, sa marathon rather.
Kay the idea mo good if you're Christina Frasco, if you're the tourism czar, the tourism secretary, or whatever, if you're in the industry of tourism, ang imuhang ganang may tabo is the tourists stay longer. Mo gina. Like, you don't want them to just simhuton lang ang Cebu ni mularga dayon, di ba?
Simuton.
Ganahan ka nga mo stay sila because okay, no. What I mean is kinanglan nga mo stay sila as long as they can because the longer they stay,
Okay.
the more money the city makes, right?
Yeah.
Right?
The more
because
money the city makes.
there's more hotel nights,
Mm-hmm.
there's more partying, there's more dining, there's more transportation, there's more
More of everything,
Yeah,
exactly.
more. So the longer they stay, the better it is for the city in terms of tourism. So kaning Cebu Marathon, it has allowed us to have a kind of event that will hopefully let the tourists stay longer. Instead of coming here for just the weekend for the Cebu, for the Sinulog, they're here not just for the Sinulog but for the Cebu Marathon as well. So
Yeah.
mo na siya ang tourism aspect na niya. Mo nang nindot yun ang natay run just before the Sinulog. Kaya daghan sa gaayo nga mga lain-lain magudong apan ang mga tao. Matod pa sa akong amahan, lain-lain yung bisyo ang mga tao dong sa.
Bisyo.
lain-lain yung bisyo. Kanang running, for example ba, I mean, for example, you want your partner or whoever, your dad or whatever, in your let's just say you're abroad, right? Dad, atutag sinulog dad kay kaning ganahan ko mo appeal sa Mardigra. Ana, for example lang ha. Ingon si daddy nimo nga, sus kapuya na dong daghan kay tao sa muka na dong.
Kana
Oy,
lagi.
dili ka kapuyan dad. Dili ka kapuyan na dong nga basig masakit pa ta na.
Yeah.
Sus may marathon good a week before. Really? Na marathon? Appeal ko ng marathon. Sige. So mura siya
type of encourage.
one more reason
Yes.
for you to go to the Philippines. One more reason for you to go to Cebu.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just for the Sinulog but also for another event. So lain-lain.
So masulit imong travels pod,
Oh,
sulit kay
yeah,
imong trip.
correct, yeah.
And that would also explain why daghan
Yeah.
kay mga foreign nationals ni apil atong
Yeah,
run
yeah.
last Sunday.
Inon ka nga, Dad, kaning ato ta sa so that you can meet the in-laws. Huh? Puya na oy. Pero na may run. Oh, apil ko.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like rason ba? So that's why it's important to have something like this. And I think sports tourism is very, very important.
Yeah.
Na mga probinsya, na mga LGU sa Cebu, sama sa kaning Tuburan, sa Midilien, sa Bantayan, nga nindot man silang mga lugar sa pero
Okay.
kung dili nimo sila tagaan og extra layer of reason to go, dili gyud na masag ang mga tao dito. You know what I mean? Extra layer meaning to say nga dili ilang kay nindot ilang beach, mag-triathlon pag kita dito. You know what I mean? So importante jud kay nga event or events for that matter to lure more tourists. For example, kana lang Ironman, for example. Di ba? Ironman is an international brand man, di ba?
Yeah.
The city, I think Lapu-Lapu, if I'm not mistaken, actually pays Ironman to be held in Lapu-Lapu or wherever they are, right? So it's the other way around. Dili siya nga sila mo bayad. Kaya it becomes like a huge tourist attraction to have something like the Cebu, the Ironman to be held in Cebu.
Yeah.
To be held in
Yeah,
Lapu-Lapu
yeah.
because it's a brand. It's a fire brand for triathlon. So munang daghan kay mga tourists mo na mga puno ang mga resorts and hotels diyang lugar
Yeah.
because
Everyone's staying.
because they're doing it there. So
For
muna
the
siya siyang rational anak niya.
Yeah.
So those are just one of the big reasons why you have to have a running community, a running scene in your neck of the woods in your city.
Yeah.
And another reason is health.
Yeah.
You want your citizens to be healthy, right? Right?
Promote health.
Yeah.
Especially I don't know, in the Cebu Marathon, I didn't really see I felt like there's a lot of older people. And it was nice to see. It was very inspiring to see.
What do you mean
Grabe.
older people?
Like usually in other fun runs.
You mean wala kay mga batanon? Meaning
Wala kaya mga batanon. I
Okay.
mean, na magyapon pero they all look like they're obviously mga working professionals.
Yeah.
I didn't really see a lot of teenagers
okay.
who were trying out. Maybe sa katong mga 6K na.
Okay.
Pero of course, the marathon itself, like the 24 and
Okay.
60. Oh, wait, no. There was a 48, di ba?
What 48?
48 km?
No.
Oh, it's still
42.
42.
A marathon is 42 kilometers.
42 day, rather.
And then instead of 21, which is half marathon, they made it 25.
25 day.
Just to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And then they have a 12 and then a 6, right?
Yeah. So
Muna siya.
I saw most of the mga professionals, working professionals, and older people.
Yeah.
Sa ano na sila sa katong 25 above.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice to see
Kaya
nga.
kana magong marathon mangod, you can't just run it because you like it.
Exactly.
It takes-
Grabe kasi training.
It takes time. Yun.
Yeah, they
It
have
takes
coaches
time.
for that. They
42K,
take
it takes a year. It takes a year to be able to run a full marathon. So, dili na basta-basta. So, I guess kung tiguang na ka, you've already logged in the necessary mileage. They call that mileage to run the marathon. So, mo nang makaingon siguro ka nga medyo dili mga executives na ang kadaghanan ng appeal sa
And it's
42K and the 25K, right?
Oh, kay it's like I feel like imagine how busy these people are. A lot of them they don't like running's not their profession.
Okay.
You know, they're not in the sports profession, but
Mm-hmm.
they make it a part of their work to do or things that they need to accomplish for the
Yeah.
year, you know, to include that. It's nice. It's inspiring to see that.
Commitment, yun siya.
Commitment,
Grabe,
yeah, that's the
grabe
word.
ka naka-commitment ka ng
Yes.
running a full marathon. Siguro ka na mga 6K, 12K, madadara na siya.
Yeah.
Magdagandagan lang ka na, pero kanang 42K, dili na mahimo.
Training, you need to train for that.
Kung dili kaya na, mahitabo nimo, pareha na hitabo na ako, nga nagtakian ko from 21K to 42K. Because
Oh my goodness.
I did train for it. I mean, I tried to train for it, but I wasn't 100% committed. You know what I mean? Say mo train sa dili every weekend mo dagan ko sa dili sa nabitaw niya wala jud ko. I wasn't under the supervision of a trainer because I thought I could do it myself. You know?
And then you would advise that for someone running
no,
a marathon.
No way. If you want to
Get a coach.
If you want to seriously cross the finish line with with an actual effing smile on your face, you've got to have a trainer, man. Okay, because kanang mong body atong lawas good, it does not necessarily agree with us, with our brain, right? Our brain wants to do this, but our body wants to go to sleep, right?
Exactly.
Our brain wants to train and run 42 kilometers, but your body only wants to do 21. So kinanglan ka og naanay murag mind and body dissonance ba. So you need a third party, a middleman to help close the gap and let the body communicate with the mind and
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So muna siya. Natay comment on ni Faye Marie Son Mojica. Let me read this. The running scene in Cebu is truly something to be proud of. I can confidently say that it's one of a kind in the Philippines. We have such a strong and passionate running community here with so many dedicated runners, which why people from all over the world join like the Cebu Marathon. In fact, I have friends from Manila who come every year just to participate
Wow.
in the Cebu Marathon. The route this year was absolutely amazing, scenic and well planned, showcasing Cebu's beauty and making it a memorable experience for everyone. That said, I have mixed sentiments about the event, particularly regarding the post-race meal, hydration, and the lack of medals at the finish line. Even for those who qualified within the time, there are valid points, but I believe there's always room for improvement. For next year, I hope that the organizers can enhance the experience by including more fruits. Good idea. Sufficient hydration options like Pocari Sweat. And most importantly, ensuring that the medals are enough. For all deserving finishers, with these improvements, Cebu can truly cement itself as a top
That's
destination for sports tourism in the Philippines.
Thank you, Faye. Faye, no?
Yeah.
From your Facebook Live.
Yeah, Faye
Jiggy Juice, sir.
Faye Marie Son Mojica.
Thank you so much for grabe nindot iyang comments, no?
Yes. San si Manoy Juan Vlogs is watching, as well as Eloisa Creel. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagtanaw
Thank you, guys.
sa amo ang Facebook page at Tops Media Center, atong website, ang ato ang ako ang Facebook page Jiggy Juice. Kanang sa atbang nako, muna siya ang Justin Narvios.
Hi, guys.
Ang iyang water jug, yung water, what do you call that?
Ang watojag nag-appearance.
Yeah, special appearance.
Yeah. I'll move it here. Hold on.
It's okay. That's okay. That looks nice.
It's a prop. It's included.
Yeah. Kana bang shirt nga reason ba? Unsa man ganahan ni mga shirt design that just what is there a specific design? Because you're the fashionista between the two of us. Like unsa may mong tan-aw, what kind of
Fun run show would I actually like.
aesthetics do you like in a race shirt, a running shirt?
I like the kind. I don't really like the sleeveless ones as a thing.
Okay.
I'd want a full sleeve.
Full sleeve. Okay.
I wouldn't want the kanang sando type.
Okay,
Although
okay.
a lot of runners this time I noticed Cebu Marathon they wore maingan na.
Yeah.
Basin kay way samok.
Okay, mo gyud ang ideal gyud nga shirt gyud. But you
for
can for running ba kay your arms can It can
Oh,
move
yeah.
because you need to swing your
Right,
arms, right?
right,
And
right.
mas hangin, mas breezy na siya. But of course, like I said, laylayan mo tag.
For me, I like to keep the shirt after niya. So, looban ni mo
Yeah,
gyapon still,
exactly.
when you still go
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So, I would like a shirt that is, I don't know what, maybe if I see it, I can say, okay, that's like really aesthetically
Okay,
pleasing.
okay.
But it has to be a shirt for me that I can wear. I don't like shirts with too much, like, grabe ra kayo mga decoration, too much design and everything.
Okay.
Kaya I feel like it's hard you have to only wear plain things with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But in general, I'll know if it's for me. It's not like I'm only gonna run because of the shirt.
Okay.
But it does help if the shirt is nice. It does encourage me to be like, kani-kanina tang shirt
Yeah,
this year.
ang ako sang nabantayan sa kadaghanan sa mga run, kung the bigger the prizes, the more the participants. For example, kanang SM to SM run, manghatag na sila auto good. Manghatag sila auto niya ilang mga freebies pagid sa ilang mga they call that loot bags. Daghan kay puno sa guys tanan. So daghan kay mga pila na niya. So kaning Cebu Marathon, if you think about it, wala man kini siya mga prizes. In fact, the Cebu Marathon is not known for their prizes, right? They're known for the date yun na siya. Muna usa sa
Yung padung sinulog.
padung sinulog mo di ba? Ingon sila nga kung maghimo kang negosyo, it's location, right? I consider this a location because its proximity to the sinulog is perfect, right? So that's one of the biggest selling points of the Cebu Marathon.
Yeah. Location itself.
Yeah, the
exactly.
time in
and the timing of it being
Yeah.
near Padung Sinulog,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah. So, but of course, like I said, we're here to talk about the running scene in Cebu, in particular the Cebu Marathon, not just for the sake of talking about it, but also to improve on it, right?
Yeah.
Muna pinaka-importante, that's the operative word, is to improve, because there's always
Room for improvement.
for anything,
Yeah.
right? And
And
especially an event.
Yeah. And next year, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice.
And my name is Justine Arvios. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us today.
It's just so funny, Justin. I just have to say this. Kanang bitong like when I ad lib and introduce a song, right?
Okay.
I have like 30, 40 seconds, 1 minute max to introduce a song, right?
Mm.
So I have this full energy. I'm
Shorter kayo, short.
I'm full of energy, right? But kung mag conversation na para sa tong gibuhat karon, murag
Lahi man ang podcast style. Yeah.
Dili na ko mahimo nga magsagit-sagit ko full of energy ko pirmi kay maluya ko, di ba?
Yeah, it wouldn't
Yeah.
match also. It makes
Yeah.
sense because we don't like in this instance
Yeah.
no. We're not going to be playing music man for today.
Yeah, yeah,
Our
yeah.
our
Yeah.
ano is down for
Yeah.
the meantime.
Yeah.
Our kind of, how do you say it, the radio?
Our terrestrial radio, yeah.
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 Because
so-
we're trying to improve on things.
Yes.
Speaking of improving, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually transferring our transmitters and our towers here from 2,000 feet closer to heaven. It will not only mean that we can actually go to our transmitter from where we are here at our studios, but we will also be serving a wider audience, because in radio, especially FM radio, height is might.
Might.
That's right.
Yeah.
Might. So stay tuned, okay? Bigger and stronger 105.1 TMC.
Ooh. Exactly. Yeah, that's right. So Mona,
That's right.
For today, that's right. So for today, it's podcast style, radio, show style.
Well, this is still radio. You know what? Radio, people have been saying its demise for a long time. Remember the song "Radio Kill the Radio"? Video Kill the Radio Star. Remember that?
No, I don't
Video
know
Kill
this.
the Radio Star. You don't remember that song?
No.
Really? Now,
Yeah, yeah.
I should let you listen to that song. So there was a song that was back in '81. The Video Kill the Radio Star. This was a song about MTV and
Okay.
how it'll kill the radio star, but radio never died.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Bisag naagya pa mga MTV. Oh.
MTV was
We
already there,
survived.
but radio survived, right?
Exactly.
And now radio.
Di man gid na mawa, feeling ako.
Radio is really just broadcasting the human voice, right? What am gina, diba? So radio will never die, but it will just be in a different form.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
And to think, no, even with that's why here at TMC we're trying to push boundaries. We're
Yeah.
not just a radio station playing
Yeah.
on 105.1.
Yeah.
We do have a daily live stream as well
Yeah.
for all our shows.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
Through aside from topsmediacenter.com, we're in. Imagine karon you can see na if you missed out the title of a song, you can see its title. You can like replay it somehow.
Yeah, okay.
Because of the website, we
Yeah.
also have the live stream that allows viewers from all over the world to listen to us.
Yeah.
And it's for me been a unique experience. We have so many OFWs watching our live streams every day.
Off of.
Offs
Okay.
and people from out of the country, and it's nice to see bang they have a piece of home gihapon
Yeah.
and maka-comment sila about topics nga relatable to home,
yeah.
right? Imagine we're talking about things like Cebu Marathon,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Nga it's within our own little bubble, but people from all over the world can like be involved in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
through our live
Yeah.
streams. So I'm so happy
Yeah.
nga ni we have that we're accessible through that platform gihapon.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned the word bubble because I think that's that's what we want to happen, is to pierce through
Bubbles?
our bubbles so we can have a bigger conversation. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if you live in your bubble, you think that everything is fine and dandy. If you live in your bubble, you think, okay na tanan ba? Okay na ba? Pero you don't know how other bubbles feel about you. You don't know how they're criticizing you. You know what I mean? And some bubbles don't think that you exist, you know? So once anam ko ng kamatuoran, good, anam ko ng truth, anam ko ng ideas, it has to hit another truth for it to grow, to be able to develop into a larger truth, right? You know what I mean? In the
okay.
same in the same way that what's his name, Nelson Mandela said, "We are the sound of one hand clapping," right? Wala may sound. So parehara na siya. So mo nang ganahan ko maghisguta og mga butang. Nga apilo na to tanan. Ako actually I shared this conversation in all of the running communities that I know of, the running groups ba? Because di ba ana man ng social media, especially Facebook, it is composed of communities, right? So ako nang gi-forward ang ato ang show karon sa mga different Facebook groups are running communities. So daghan kay mga running communities na criticize sa Cebu Marathon, daghan kay nag-praise sa Cebu Marathon. So ako nang gihatag sa tanan para tanan maka input sad ba?
Yeah.
Di ba?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And there's so much to talk about when it comes to the running scene in
Yeah.
Cebu. Whether runner ka before or responder ka or organizer ka
Yeah.
or host ka, pareha na mo ni Jiggy, entertainer ka.
Yeah. Para ni Justin.
Yeah,
Okay.
daghan kag lahi sa imong point of view.
Yeah.
Which now I'd like to I think nakaremember sad ko being mga kanang a performer for a fun run.
Okay.
Or a marathon. It's really fun, Gid, I would say.
Okay.
Compared to don't get me wrong, I love corporate events also.
Okay.
Pero ganahan sa ko perform sa mga fun run.
Okay,
Kay
okay.
for some reason, when the runners come back, aside
Okay.
from being so happy from the loot bags that they collect, lahi po ilang energy. Maybe that tinuod gid ng kanang runner's high, no?
Absolutely.
No? Ikaw, Jiggy, runner mo gid ka.
that is
So,
a physiological truth.
I mean, do you guys, when you finish the run, I would expect, nga ganahan na mo manguli. Kaya mo like, what the heck? I just finished a run. Let me go home. Let me sleep. Pero no, they actually stick around for the entertainment. They actually stick around for the fun.
Yeah.
Nya, kapila na ko ka-try if mo perform ko sa fun run sa morning. Magsayo-sayo pag yun yung mga runners. Makaingon sa ko ba nga, they have so much energy.
Yeah.
They actually join you.
Yeah.
When you ask them, okay, join me to... They would dance, they would sing. I don't know if maybe it's just a Cebuano thing, rapod. But so far in the fun runs that I've performed for, the crowd is always nice.
Yeah,
sa
kind of
morning.
runner's high. That's real, right? Like
real,
a
okay.
dopamine rush, almost like a drug, right? So kanang mga runners, mga addict na sila.
That sounds very...
Yeah.
Um,
They're addicted to the runner's high. I
Okay.
mean, so mo na
mga addict
addict na sila.
no?
So addict na sila. Mo na giningon lang addict og running, di ba? Kay there's
Yeah,
a,
most runners I know, they would not settle for like going for only one marathon or one run in a year.
Yeah.
They would
Because
go for at least 2 or 3 gid.
They want to get that feeling. Imuwas ang lawas, Justin, masuko sana siya. Mo nagsulti na ko ni mga saputon ko kung kuwang kog exercise. Mo na siya. Nga imong lawas mangayo na hinuon og kaning physical activity, which is a good thing, right? Ang importante lang yun nga you do it right para di ka ma-injured kay, di ba? Kanang the more you use something, the more wear and tear, di ba? That's really a fact of life, di ba? So you have to be able to do it right. So there their equipments like shoes, for example, or socks, or technique. That's why there's so many things you need to learn about, even as simple as running, because that saying, we're born to run.
Wow.
We're born.
We are born to run.
There's even a book about that, because back in the day, we ran. If we didn't know how to run, we'd starve to death, because we had to chase our food. Especially
Exactly. Hunt.
we had to hunt our food, right? So
So running is innate in our
Yeah.
nature, good.
Oh,
no?
so-
And also for survival, aside from, in the past, predators, these animals.
there were actual mumu lurking in the bushes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And with kanang minimal shelter
Yeah.
at that time, we're also food.
Yeah.
We're also to be hunted.
Yeah, we're not only food gatherers or food predators.
be hunted.
We're also on the
So
hunt, yeah.
running is supposedly
Survival
like,
skill.
Oh, survival skill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mo na siya.
Mao na akong gihuna-huna sa, as I always talk about kanang mga zombie apocalypse, which is very fictional, pero
Zombie.
we never know. Kani mga runners sila ragi makasurvive good.
Okay.
2 hours running straight.
Okay.
Imagine from Cebu they can run to a different city, like okay ra gid nga gukdon sila kay makaya ra man na
Yeah,
nila to run.
Yeah.
In the zombie apocalypse movies, they're always worried about like,
Okay.
we don't have transportation, like the cars they don't work,
Okay.
or there's no fuel.
Okay.
If you were a runner and these zombies are slow, like in most movies, ayaw sad ng pareha ng uban nga rabbit paspasad kayo. Kung mga slow ba?
Getting slow.
No, think about it practicality wise.
Okay, practical.
If you're a runner,
How do
you'll
you
survive.
how do you apply practicality in a fictional
Okay,
character?
kanasad, that's
but,
the thing.
But go ahead. Please
No,
continue.
like nindot kayo if runner ka ba?
Okay.
You'll survive good.
The zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, people like me nga dili ko runner, di ko mo survive ana.
Okay.
That's a thing. But for runners, so easy peasy.
Yeah, lemon squeezy.
And again, considering that the zombies are slow. Huh? Imagine they run non-stop.
Okay.
So, pila ka, maybe an hour or 2 hours straight. I mean, maybe just to have like water breaks and all that. But kanang, they're fit for that ba?
Yeah, yeah.
Sus, apocalypse ako, I'm gonna die gid. Di gid madagid gid.
So one of the advantages of running, according to Justine,
Yeah.
in
You'll
case of a
survive an
zombie apocalypse,
Yeah. You'll survive.
makasurvive ra mo. Okay ra gyud.
Yeah.
Okay ra gyud kay tanan.
Yeah.
Makasurvive ra mo kung naay zombie apocalypse kay kibaw man mo mudagan.
It sounds dumb, but
Yeah.
watch.
But you will never know what you'll be running from, right?
Yeah.
It could be a zombie apocalypse. It could be an attacker. Mo na akong gisulti bitaw nila nga kanang mga tulisan, kanang mga kawatan, mga snatcher, magtan-aw na sila sa ilang biktima kung mag-rubber shoes, mag-sports
Sports casual.
sports casual, mag-jogging pants. Ay, masigok doon ko ani niya.
Paspas ra ba ni siya
Oo.
mo? Yeah, that's true.
So dili na sila mangawat, dili na sila mang-snatch og tao nga kusog mudagan, tanaw nila kay mudagan their weapon is the running, aside from maybe kung hulgaon kilag pusil or kutsilyo lain na pa ng storya. That's another skill nga kinahanglan ka og mahibaw ka na kay self defense and all that stuff. But kung kanang usually dagan mo ganala, so to avoid running, to avoid being a victim of snatching or whatever, dili mo ta pwede magdadag pusil diri sa Cebu po, di ba? Nga unlike some parts of the world nga pwede ka magtak-in og pusil, di ba?
Yeah.
Imong
Sa ato,
ang imong weapon is imong sports casual outfit.
Exactly.
Di ba? Kung mag-rubber shoes ka, kung tan-aw nila nga healthy ka, nga makagukod ka, dili na sila magpatuga-tuga og snatch nimo oy. Una siya.
So dress appropriately and kanang paklaro na lang sad sa imong mga snatcher nga runner ka. Wear it proudly in public.
Sports casual lagi.
You know what I like to do in fun runs also,
Yeah,
Jiggy?
yeah.
What I enjoy is kanang comparing people's shoes.
Yeah.
Ilang running shoes.
Yeah,
Daghan
yeah.
kay nag-hoka nga brand.
Of course, yeah. Kay
This time.
bago raman sa dang Hoka run. Bago raman sa to a few months ago was the Hoka trilogy. So mo na daghan kay naka-Hoka niya.
Yeah.
Nag-sale sa dang Hoka. So mo na
okay.
barato sa kayo.
Malingaw ko like, a lot of people like to wear kanang mga neon. No,
Yeah.
I don't know, is it like a runner's thing? Runners don't really go for black shoes. A lot of the runners I see kay colorful gin as
Oh
silang
yeah,
shoes.
because ang object man good sa
Colorful, like
runner
neon-y.
is you have to be seen. Okay,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
actually a
yeah, yeah,
safety
yeah, yeah.
precaution.
Okay.
Na kinahanglan imong sulubon neon para kung mudagan ka sa daan makitaan ka di ka maligsan di ka
Okay.
mabanggaan.
So
Oh.
that explains
So
why they
dili
would
na
go
siya
for
patagad lang, although some people are magpatagad lang yun naapoy
or
uban na
static lang.
aesthetic lang, pero kadaghanan na it has a safety purpose. Na nice practical reason na siya. Muna siya mahibong kang ano man ganiyon man si Jiggy og short. Dili
Mao day para makita.
para
like,
makita
kind
ko
of
para di ko
run.
magpartira ng gamayan ya di ko makitaan pa nga samot kakuan ka dangerous para nako so mag short siga nga kanang siga kay ba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Labi na nang kanang kanang marathon. As dusi ko na ngit-ngit kayo. Actually, that's a fairly recent development sa nga ang marathon kaning alas 12, alauna.
Sa una day?
Kay murag later pa man na siya tunguna mga alas 3, alas 4. Karon man good because of our traffic issues of the city.
Yeah.
Kinanglan gyud nga mosayo og human.
Earlier.
Okay, kung dili ta masayo og human, ma-traffic og maayo, di ba? So mo na siya nga based on the experience of the city, kinanglan gyud nga
They have it way earlier.
isayo gyud natong maayo para dili kay ma-traffic.
Okay, makes sense.
Usam sa mga results of marathons, di ba? Kanang ma-traffic, di ba? Kaya mag-road closure gud ta, di ba? So
that's why recent development na siya nga, a little bit later.
lisod na kay para nato.
Earlier rather.
Ang mga masayo kay tag mata, ang murag usahay di na magbilar na lang ta ba dili ta mga tuog kay lisod man kayo kay kung matuga di ka kamata di ba usahay di
Yeah,
ba.
that's why I think for you as someone who always hosts event.
Yeah. Ikaw Justin, like unsa man imuhang how do you wake up from ungodly hours? You know, like how do you wake up from times nga you have to wake up like really screwed up times? Like do you have an
yeah.
alarm clock?
Yeah.
Do you have like 2 alarm clocks in case the other one fails?
That's
or
smart.
do you tell somebody to wake you up? Someone like what's your secret to waking up? During ungodly hours?
Daghan jud ko mga alarms. Like I only have one. I use the clock app on the
Okay,
phone.
okay.
And I only have like one alarm rigid.
Okay,
No,
okay.
rather more than one alarm.
Okay.
Kay and I think I would never say I'm used to waking up early or I'm a morning person.
Okay.
Although I've done it for several years now, even in high school. No, my carpool has to pick me up
Okay.
5 to 5:30 a.m.
Okay.
So like 5:15. So you can imagine I always wake up at dawn, and I've been doing that for like 6 years, 7 years, and even until now with top of the morning. Kay, this is one of the things about living far in the south. Pero wa man gyapon ko na ana jigi if wala ko'y alarm kay my body won't wake me up until 8 a.m.
Pero
Di ko ka-wake up.
makamata ka og alarm. Kaya na may tao nga grabe kay alarm. Like for example, my daughter, si Summer, like sporty na yung sa baas yung alarm. Siya natugpak.
Okay. Yeah, my sister's like that
The
too.
entire house ni mata na siya
Yeah.
natugpak. Sa muka lagi.
Yeah, sometimes heavy sleepers ba?
Yeah.
No, not really. I would
Okay.
say I'm not.
So one weird sound makamata na ka.
Yeah, I think dali ko mamata.
Okay.
Like if kohiton no actually I'll wake up right away.
Even though kuan lang ka kaning gamay lang nga alarm.
Yeah, and I also have this thing about me.
Some people magud like you said kanong ihisgot ka nga kohiton. Some people need to be like moved ba, like physically moved to be.
I mean,
able
i-move man sad gid ko, i-move man gid ko maayo, pero I would say
No, what I mean by is makamataram ka og alarm rang.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I set several ones though.
Okay.
Okay, I feel like having one is not enough, so
Okay.
I'll do like 3 alarms maybe.
Okay.
Para sure gid ba?
Okay, but what if your phone breaks down or you
I won't wake up
you
until like
you put it on silent mode by
patay
accident
ko.
o hortog battery, di ba?
patay ko. I won't wake up until like
So
8 a.m., 9 a.m.
Na siguro kay redundancy siguro nga lain pud nga alarm clock lain
ako i-change ang music. That's one thing. So
okay.
for example, the first alarm,
Okay.
I'll change it I'll make it different from the second. Kaya in my dreams, they might sound the same naman.
Okay.
Like while I'm sleeping, it feels like ma-ignore na ko ba. So I have different sounds, alarm sounds. And then the music always has to be like
Maayong bungkag
hype.
ni mo diha Mars Lordan Radyo Todela Bri Riksala nanan na to karon Justin.
Wow. On your Facebook Live.
Atong Facebook page.
Thank you for joining us.
Jiggy Juice. Naay interesting kay post sa Cebu Marathon 2025. So about the viral post of someone wearing a medal on the plane. Surprise!
Oh.
It's me! Just having fun. Don't take it seriously. Spread love, peace, and happiness. Na siya picture nga.
Okay.
Nisakay siya aeroplano o niya nag-medal siya.
Nagsakay siya airplane niya,
Yung
nag-medal siya.
Yun sa pagpasod sa aeroplano, di ba, na may metal detector?
Yun sa man niya, no?
Nakalusot di ka. Yes, sure, gipakita siguro. Kaya pwede lang magahubuan mo relo, di
Yeah,
ba?
it's just it's the Biton, a lot of them are not from Cebu, so
Yeah.
how can we expect that?
Yeah. Kani nga si tao gani nauban bitaw na nga magsulob og medal kay so they so proud of the accomplishment ba. Because grabe man sa gana ka
Uy.
nga accomplishment nga maka-finish
Yes,
kag 42K or 25 even 25K, di ba?
Yeah.
Or any run for that matter.
Yeah.
Just the discipline to wake up. O sala na.
Exactly.
That's one obstacle, right?
Yeah.
The discipline to brush your teeth hopefully and and put on your clothes. That's
Yeah.
another obstacle, right? And the weather, right? Kung
kanapod, because-
taligsik lang gamay, ay hindi na mag-uwan pa lang.
Yeah, I katong pag Cebu Marathon the night before, like mga 9 to 10
Nag-uwan
p.m.
man to.
Grabe kayong ulan.
Kusog ng uwan, no, di
So
ba?
rain or shine, good na siya for
so
the
so
runners.
daghan yung kay rason, daghan kay mga obstacles mga you have to go through until you actually arrive, right?
The run itself.
The run itself. So muna siya nga importante kayo nga you celebrate that because that's a win. That's a W, right? For you.
It's a W.
You were able
W.
you were able to conquer your mind, right? Ang kailan mi ng katog. I mean like gravity is undefeated, right? And there's kanang pagkatog, that's a gravity showing his force on you. Nga, hey,
Yeah, showing its power over you.
hey, why don't you just it's a comfortable bed here? What are you
Why don't
doing?
why don't you higda sa
Imbis
kanya?
maghigda ka, magdagan-dagan hinuon ka. Naunsa na kadihadong? Naunsa na kadihaday, di ba?
That's why I really admire people who do running.
Yeah.
Imagine you're beating your ano gid ba?
Yeah, your tendency, right? Your
Natural
human tendency,
tendency.
your natural tendency. Akong imahan lagi. I think I got my pagkapilospos akong imahan siya. Ikaw pa'y mo dagan, ikaw pa'y mo bayad. Mo siya na ikaw pa'y mo dagan, ikaw mo naunsa. Parihara ko na mo ato siya restaurant kanang
mga sangyup,
kanang shabu-shabu
magluto.
ana. Sus, ako pa'y magluto, ako pa'y mo bayad. Parihara nang inana.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Ako pa gani ang mo ano, I have to do it myself. That's
Yeah.
exactly the
Yeah.
truth about running.
Yeah. So
So that's why commitment is a big thing. I feel like more than the training that you receive, which you really need to, as Jiggy mentioned,
Yeah.
may pagtuga-tuga for marathon.
And the training also requires a lot of regular commitment.
With that,
Yeah.
more than that, the commitment really to finish everything from the little
Yeah.
steps you take,
Yeah.
Such as waking up, getting ready,
Moment to
to
Justin.
being in the actual run.
Yeah, moment to Justin nga, even though nagtakiang nako, my right knee would not bend, right?
Grabe, no?
I really
Jiggy, that's
because
crazy.
I was committed to finish. Because it's a marathon, right?
Yeah.
So I think more important than the time and your personal record and all that stuff, you need to finish it.
Yeah.
So that's why I really finished it. So it's like a mind over matter thing that I did. But I think it's important that running is an example of our ability to conquer our minds.
Kana.
Mo sa na siya.
Murag
Sample size na
mind
siya ba?
over matter also.
Yeah.
And your state of mind greatly.
Yeah.
Kanang that will also be the more determinant as to how far you'll go
Yeah.
and how far you
Yeah.
can push yourself
Yeah.
in running.
And just be able to finish, that's also a mind over matter thing because you could easily stop. I mean, nobody's stopping you from stopping, right?
Exactly.
Like, pwede naman ka mo muundang good, pwede ra ka mauli na lang ka. Di ba?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but you decided to stay on, and such is life, right? Such is life. Life is about keep on keeping on. Every single day, you're given
Keep
an
on
obstacle.
keeping on.
Yeah,
I like that.
every day you're given an obstacle. Don't do this. Don't do that. There's always an easier way. You don't have to do this. Every
Yeah.
single day. Someone siya nga, that's why the analogy here is like running is like life, right? And one of the most famous running slogans is, I forgot who it's attributed to, but it says something like, pain is necessary, suffering is optional. That's like a running slogan. Pain is necessary, but suffering is optional. So we need pain. I mean,
And it's always going to be there, man.
it's always going to be painful. But for
That's
you
the
to-
reality,
But,
but-
for you to suffer for it is optional.
Oh, that is
you
nice.
don't have to suffer for it. You know what I mean? So that is a kind of a life lesson that running teaches you. You know what I mean? It's going to be painful. It's going to be hard to start, but like you don't have to suffer for it. You know what I mean? So
It can be enjoyable.
it can be enjoyable. Mo nang importante kayo, my advice to all the runners, especially before they go, is first of all hydrate. I heard that hard lesson. If you skip, then you'll get dehydrated
Yeah.
and you can't bend your knee, as one of the
Crazy kayo.
one of the symptoms. Hydrate, listen to your body because your body is always telling you something, right? And finally, have fun. Mo ginay pinaka-importante, have fun. As in life, you gotta have fun. The point of it all is not the finish line. The point of it all is when your shoe and your foot hits the ground and you see that there's a community of like-minded people
Yeah.
who also love whatever it is that you're doing. It's fun, right? It's fun, and you have conversations with them sometimes, and all of that stuff. So I think also that's part of the appeal also of running, Justine. I think it's also the community, right? People like to be part of something, right?
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. That's one thing about athletes that I really admire and I'm always inspired by. Ako din magid ko athlete. So I think my craft is something else.
Yeah.
So music, it's
Okay.
quite similar.
Okay.
But I would say that the thing about, like in music, when you're on stage now, when you're performing, people always think of it as like, okay, your time to show off and do your best is during the performance day itself.
Okay.
Or as a runner, for example, in that sense, that the time that they get to show their skills is during the race
Yeah.
or during the marathon itself. But people overlook the fact that before the marathon, before you even get to that point, were several times that you were training, several days of practice, several days of preparation,
Yeah.
and all the little bits and all the small things that led up to that big moment. ba?
Okay.
So mo na ma-impress gid kay ko aning mga athletes. And when I see an athlete winning, like someone getting an award sa fun run or sa marathon or scoring during a game or whatever it's called, no, it makes me think na actually behind all this we just see like the
person, right?
person now receiving the award, pero it means more than that,
Yeah.
because that actually represents pila ka ni siya ka hours giput in, no, for
Or how
that-
many
for
people
them.
were involved?
How many people
yeah.
were involved kana?
It may look like an individual sport, but if you
Yes.
notice that most of them, a lot of those winners, they actually bring streamers with them.
Yeah, they're
You
they're
know,
in a team.
Yeah, they come from a team.
How many hands were involved mangin in helping this person
Yeah,
reach that?
countless
that,
hands, right?
How
For-
many times did this person have to
Yeah.
wake up early in
Yeah.
the day to
Yeah.
push their body to the limit to reach that? Hindi kayo.
My personal experience is a classic example. If John Pius did not tell me to get out, get out of my bedroom and run,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be running. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I wouldn't probably be part of the running scene, but as a host, right? Because of that small gesture that he did, right?
Exactly. So then
there's a lot of factors involved
Yeah.
in everything that we do, especially the hard things that
Yeah.
we do.
And going back to what I mentioned, I saw this quote a couple of days ago that I feel like really fits for people who are into running. And it says, let me find it here. When fishermen cannot go to sea, they repair nets. So when the sea is too rough to sail, smart fishermen, they don't wait. They get to work. They mend their nets, they sharpen their tools, and prepare for the moment the storm breaks. Because even in stillness, there's progress. It's not about sitting idle. It's about building what's next. And I feel like for runners, for example, no, again, that means when their efforts are not only solely concentrated to the race day itself, several hours were put into preparation
Yeah.
for that. So, morning giingon nga, when they cannot go to sea, they repair nets because before the run itself, they never know. Maybe there's a specific run or marathon that they've been preparing for. Nga naagid na sa ilang goal.
Nagin
No?
na.
Pero there are some runs also that siguro ni pop out and then they decide like, sige, I'll join this. And they're given the confidence to do that because nakaprepare man sila.
Yeah.
So in your example, katoy mong gingon nga, there was that marathon nga ni run ka nga you were having difficulty.
Yeah, because I wasn't prepared enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
The lesson there is
there is
prepare.
just prepare, even though you're not sure what you're preparing for.
Yeah.
That's for me super important.
Yeah.
Kay most of the time, I think if we're gonna talk about life in
Yeah,
general,
yeah.
and I'm very guilty of this. I
Yeah.
only prepare kung naay something to
Yeah.
prepare for.
Yeah.
You study kung naray test. Kind of so guilty kay ko ana gid in school. I would only like really churn my brain to its fullest kung naa na exam.
Mhm.
But kung wala pa exam, sometimes di pa ko mabasa.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest mistake. One of
Yeah.
the biggest mistakes I've made good in law school.
Yeah.
You have to read even if wala nothing. You have to practice man sad na nga ang mong reading skills and all that.
Yeah.
So then, for runners, I would say, even though wala marathon or a big event coming up, a lot of them would still train gyapon just to keep their unsa na siya? Endurance, stamina. What is it?
You have to have like a minimum health condition to be able to run, right?
Kana.
So I think endurance.
So preparing for something.
your heart health and your body health and all that
Yeah.
stuff, right?
So repairing nets when you can't go out at sea. So
Yeah.
preparing for something even though you don't know what that is
Yeah.
pa. Super important. man gid.
But we talked about this before. We sort of talked about this and how running is like the basic skill set for a lot of sports. Right?
Yeah, you mentioned
like
basketball.
football. Like
If you just know how to run,
the other
and you
skills,
run right,
yeah,
everything else will follow.
Yeah, will just follow. Yeah. So and like I said, running away from a snatcher, right?
Running away from a snatcher.
or
chasing the snatcher.
chasing the snatcher or whatever, right?
Chasing the bus.
So yeah, running actually has a practical
Running
purpose.
late to class.
Has a practical purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it's not only also a very healthy habit, but lagi kanang uban sad masubraan sad. Pero kabantay ka Justin. Based on the list that I saw, there were like more than 10 70-year-olds who were running
Yeah.
the Cebu Marathon.
Grabe, no?
Daghan juga yung mga senior citizens yung nidagan. So I think kana siya dili ka makadagan at an advanced age kung you've been running wrong. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to run
Right.
the right way.
Yeah.
Because there's technique to do that.
And that's what you mentioned also nga mind over matter because the determination that those senior citizens have to run despite their physical condition,
Yeah.
that's what's truly inspiring.
Yeah.
Nga na-push nila ilang self, nga kabaw man sila
Yeah.
nga their bodies might not be as best
Yeah.
shape, like we're speaking in scientifically, gid ba nga? Syempre, ang body of a 70-year-old is not going to be comparable to like that of a 20-year-old.
It will sag, right? Gravity again is undefeated,
yes.
right?
Pero they push their mind.
Yeah.
Their minds are stronger than that.
Yeah.
Nga naka-participate sila. So cool.
Yeah.
I shall take a quick bathroom break. I keep moving na my seat. Pidgetin na kay Comrade.
Oh no, okay. The last thing we want is somebody to do that
The body, listen to your body. Ito to?
public peeing. Atong karon 31 minutos nang nilabay sa alas 10. You're listening to what?
Your Facebook Live is
Oh no.
to my mic. Yung makadungog ka nga na-
Oh no, you can hear the peeing anyway. We don't want to do that. That sounds really nasty. Anyway, so we're live on YouTube Tops Media Center. You can see both of us. You can also see us on Facebook, Jiggy Juice, and that's my personal account, at Run Cebu, at Tops Media Center. Join us in our conversation about the running scene in Cebu. Maing bungkag ni Budia Mango, Jojo Padilla, McCoy YT, Ricky Sala. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagtanaw. Mars Lordan, Radyo Todela Bri. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagtanaw. Ngani sa atuang 105.1 TMC, the best of us.
I'm playing some music. You can listen to it if you want in our website, Tops Media Center. But right now, we're having conversation about the running scene in Cebu. Tell me about how you feel about the running scene in Cebu. Do you like it? Does it need a lot of improvement? If so, how can we improve upon it? Let me know your thoughts, okay?
Are you playing a song break for a while, Jiggy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just answer a call real quick.
No problem.
Thank you. I can't really hear, so like you're good.
So we're talking about the running scene in Cebu? How can we improve upon it? How do we improve on the Cebu Marathon? How do we improve on the running scene of Cebu? Let me know your thoughts. Tell us. Just comment here on our Facebook page, okay? Um, or you can join us on our YouTube at Tops Media Center to my right. That's actually our YouTube. Or you can go to our website, Tops Media Center. You can message us or you can text 0999 887 6070. Tell us how you feel about the Cebu Marathon 2025. And how do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? Let me know your thoughts, okay? Ato ang our time. It is now 10:34. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice on 105.1 TMC. So, guys, if you have any comments about how you feel about the running scene in Cebu, let us know. Comment it here. I'll definitely bring it to the organizers. I know all of them, at least most of them. So let me know how you feel about the Cebu Marathon. Tell me about how you feel about the other events. Just message it here. Okay? If you want to listen to the whole entire show with music, you can go to our website, topsmediacenter.com. Uki uki? Everything okay?
Yeah, just trying to reach
Bad signal?
Yeah, magsiging drop ang calls. I don't know why.
Is it like your call using
Oh,
internet or regular call?
I'm not sure. Your voice now is heard. I don't know.
All over the world on 105.1 TMC.
I know. I think sa live stream na to, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear it. Okay naman, it's just magsige siya drop.
Now, are you trying to make a phone call using the internet or a regular phone call?
I'm doing both. My signal is bad and regular. Also.
There's a spot here that's pati signal. I think I don't know exactly where.
I also checked the messenger. Mama na siyang other one ng messenger.
Mm. Join us on YouTube if you want, Tops Media Center. Or you can join us on our Facebook. Aram Condeno. Bagang salamat sa imong pagtanaw di Aram. Balita di Aram.
Later na lang I'll try again in a bit.
Dito.
Later na lang I'll try in a bit. I don't know when the... Maybe it's also my comment, my, don't call it, maybe ang signal na katipod niya. Pero ako ang it says.
Guess what I'm going to do? I'm also going to make a quick run for the CR, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a quick run to the CR. Don't you guys go anywhere. I'll be right
We're
back.
back. Nature's call.
I'm going to switch it to just
Me. Hi guys. Oh, it's okay putting your front on. I can also just read your comments.
Yeah. Or,
Okay, from the back I cannot read. Hello guys. Jiggy's live takeover. Okay, here are the comments. It's Senior Yamaha Rider. Thank you for joining us again. 42K unta per di man lechon kaon. Oh my god, that would be actually really nice na mag-go kag fun na niya at the end lechon yung kaon. I would really like that. Sorry, I have so much to say about CCM. This will really be my last. No, it's okay, Miss Faye, Maria, Son, Momika. We're really glad that we need inputs. So we're happy that you've given us so much inputs as to your own experience of the run and also giving a discussion as to what you think about it. Thank you so much. Guys, the weather is super nice here. Well, it's foggy-ish, pero bugnaw siya outside, but really, really rainy. I'll be right back. Who's that eating? If ingani Jiggy ba na-call, like messenger, ingani ang sound, what does it mean? That means the call's not going through?
which one?
Kung ingani ang sound. Kung call ba? Ingani, that means it's not going through, right?
Mm.
Why is it going through?
Okay, that's ringing.
Now,
Maybe if you want to try staying here lang sa maybe it's the location.
okay. Are you really like in Cebu?
No, maybe because you moved. Try long sitting there though. If it's a private call, I can
That's
leave or
okay.
whatever.
No problem. Usually it works when I'm standing outside. Okay, wait. Let me see my special spot again.
Okay. Hi Jenny, how you doing? Did you join the Cebu Marathon? And Jen, how can we improve upon the Cebu Marathon? Let us know. Text or message it here lang ko no. Sa mga itong mabuhat. Na manindot pagid ang atong Cebu Marathon. Ha? One 5.1 TMC, the most Cebu music. And atong
Iskutan
iskutan
ka taga sa atong mag-anisay ta Sugbo. Mag-anisay ta Sugbo. How do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? Kani si Jenny Trazona. Kung ano siya kaning runner ni siya niya kaning taga Barili ni siya, porting layuan yung gigikanan. Muarigi na siya sa Cebu para lang mudagan. Sus, sa man mo ikasulti sa running scene sa Cebu. Medyo bago-bago pa siya nasugod og running. So I think your inputs will be very important, Jenny. Tell me, how do you feel about the Cebu Marathon? And in general, how do you feel about the running scene in Cebu, and how can we improve upon it? Let me know your thoughts, Palihog, Jenny Trazona, and everyone watching this on YouTube at Jiggy Juice, at Tops Media Center on YouTube, at topsmediacenter.com. Maybe you can message us and how you feel you think we can improve upon the Cebu Marathon and the running scene in Cebu. Let me know your thoughts. You're listening to 105.1 TMC. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. And atong programa, gitawag na to niyog Top of the Morning.
Aba, matindi!
Yes, every single day from 8 a.m. until 12 noon. Top of the Morning with Jiggy Juice and Justine Narvios. Atong gisgutan kanong buntaga, January 13, 2025 is, how do you feel about the running scene here in Cebu? Let me know your thoughts, okay? 0999-887-6070. Mo ka na nga to ang text number kung ganahan mo text. Pero may siguro i-message lang mo ditso sa ato ang Facebook page, right? At Tops Media Center, at Jiggy Juice. How's it, Justine? How was your phone call? Hold on, give me a second. I'll give you your microphone back that you removed pag atin mo sa CR, because it would not be a, well, it would be the sound of the waterfalls, but you know, it'll be funny sounding waterfalls. Maraga, very hold on, give me a second. What?
I just need to talk to my uncle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your long lost uncle? No.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to meet him today. And
Okay.
He's actually doing a music video shoot for the song that they wanted to
Oh,
release, the Sinulog themed song.
aren't they supposed to be doing it here at Tops? No.
Yeah, I mean, he has multiple. He'll be shooting at multiple locations. One
Okay.
of them is there lang sa city.
okay.
I think sa Fuente later.
Okay.
Which malas ka, kay or bad man ang weather
Oh,
karon.
part
Nasa
man-
studio dito. It's an indoor shoot pa. So I don't know
Part man na sa
sa appeal.
appeal sa
Cebu?
sa Cebu ba kanang our display of faith nga maski nag-uwan pa na diha,
Rain or shine.
nagbaha pa na diha, kuha na gyud ta padayon na gyud sa atong gibati, di ba?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll be meeting him later. And
This will be this is like your long lost uncle, right?
yeah, I've only been able to communicate with him online.
So you've never actually met in
no,
person.
but he met my brother and my dad na
Oh, okay.
pag-pandemic.
So you've met people who've met him, but you've never actually met him, right?
That's funny because
That's
sometimes
interesting,
how it's good how
Yeah.
social media connects us, and
Yeah.
he kani nga uncle, he's always the one that's like, I don't know, he makes our family proud, and
Okay.
proud nervous sad kay ni siya,
Yeah.
no?
Can you mention man nga kani siya?
Siya mag-update sa family tree, kana may
Unsan-
ana ba?
No, not that he ran for mayor in Houston. Was
Yeah,
it Houston?
he ran for mayor
Houston ba ni?
in Houston,
Okay.
yeah, and then he was up against this.
He almost won, right?
Almost won. Which that's why I also want to meet him, because I want to ask him about that too. And
Yeah,
hopefully, when he's here on the show, we're so excited to have him, you guys.
Yeah.
This week, I'd have to arrange that with him.
Yes, please.
With-
Yeah.
with him-
But you
with
have
him
to
too.
you have to meet him first, right?
Kana, that's why.
Because you want to be able to know his dimensions too. What if he's like 10-footer, right? Di siya maigo dito, di ba? You know what I mean?
Kana, exactly.
I mean, like we all have a basic idea of what a human being is and what the size and all that. But
But we
still,
never know.
But you'll never know, right? So muna importante kayo nga
yeah. And then I'd have to like hopefully by the time that he gets here, okay na po ato ang radio.
yeah.
By the way, do we have a for the week? Do we know? Or
They'll be very soon.
Okay. I'm excited for that.
Because they already moved everything. It's already in a truck.
last week, di ba? Inka?
Last week, yeah. So,
Nagbigyan na siya last week.
Yeah,
So I
but-
think Friday.
Yeah, but it's also interesting to have these sorts of conversations
Yes.
using the internet, right? Because
Oh,
I think this is where it's at, and this is really where it's at.
And especially for his glad pod nga yung supporters and the rest of my family. And his family also, their states, can be able to join in on our
Yeah,
conversation.
grabe gyud kayo.
Yeah.
It has dramatically changed the way communication works. It has dramatically changed how mass media works, and it has become kind of a challenge too, because ang kanang mong radio good, di ba? I told you about this. We talked about this before. Kanang radio is really local, di ba? Kanang radio, ang original intention yun na niya, ang original design yun na niya is to serve the locality, di ba? Pag human, now that there's technology that allows the whole world to listen to a local radio station,
We've expanded.
that changes everything.
Exactly.
And not necessarily in a good way. Because ikaw, na kibaw ka nga, na inaminaw ni mo dito sa Dubai, na inaminaw ni mo dito sa LA, na inaminaw ni mo dito sa New Zealand, kung maghisgot ka og sunog diha sa unahan, what does that have to do with them, right? Or maghisgot ka og whatever, nga hyper-focus sa locality ng traffic. For example, traffic is bumper to bumper in Banilad. For example, nahisgot ka na, niunsa man na, ako nag-drive ko sa LA. What is that information for? That's useless to me, di ba? So tempting.
Kung labot na ako.
Tempting siya, tempting, di ba? Pero you also have to be able to muster this energy the right way so that it'll work for you. Because possibly masad nga tempted ka to talk about global stuff.
But it's not relatable to
And
people na
ang mga
lokal.
taga Cebu, unsam nang istoryaan yung Justin, Jiggy, ay mura man tay labot ani.
That's why what I like about our show, Top of the Morning, we try to strike a balance between that.
Sakto ka.
Daghanta og conversations nga relatable sa mga Cebuanos.
Correct.
And there are a lot of life lessons and things related to, like, I would say, philosophy and whatnot.
The philosophy.
We talk about psychology even.
Psychology.
Diba?
Kuya ka law. Asos na unsa na ni. Unsa naman ni sila eh.
Yes. So then we talk about everything and anything here sa Top of the Morning, which
Yeah.
makes it for me, it's actually kanang ang topics are diverse
Yeah,
and they can
yeah.
maka-drive, they can maka-join
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
no?
yeah.
In fact, there were a couple episodes ago we talked about
Yeah. What
how
did-
it would be to be an OFW unsay
Yeah.
mga struggles nila.
Yeah, gusto-
Yeah, I was so proud to see daghan kay ni Joy nato nga
Yeah,
OFWs
yeah.
mismo nga share their
yeah.
personal experiences.
Grabe si kanang OFW, kapoy si kanay, sayon-sayo lang tanang kaning mga inlag kwarta, mga magpapalit lang sapatos.
Magpangayog, ayuda.
Di ba? Ayuda pag human. Akong tawag na sa kaning I always tell my brother kana siya foreign aid. Foreign aid. Thank you for remembering the third world. So magpadagan na sila kwarta akong mga igsuon gali. Salamat sa foreign aid ha.
Salamat sa ayuda, ha?
Salamat ha sa kaning for not forgetting the third world.
Yeah, exactly.
Di ba? So, pero ilang kinabuhi pa dito, dili po na sayon po. Nagiyon ka nga, hayahay ka isa na sila dito,
No.
pero dili po na sa hayah, kapoy po na sila eh.
Yeah.
Lisod po na sila dito sa Amerika. Ang problema lang yun usahay sad is, kanang magpuyo kay sa lugar, well assimilated ka ba, kanang nakatuna ka ba tao. So, ang mga kinaiya sa mga tao sa lugar, kuan po, kaning mura pog mapareha po kanila. You know what I mean? You become, because that's probably, for me, correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, ha? Because that's probably the best way to assimilate, right? Is to be like them. Diba? You know what I mean? Kaya dili man ka maka-assimilate, dili man ka maka-blend in sa crowd kung you're still standing out, that you're still different. You know what I mean? So if you want to be a part of a community, if you want to be part of that new country of yours, you have to start doing things the way they're doing things. Kung maglahi-lahi ka, then you build your own community. You know what I mean? So mo na usa sa mga challenges of being in a foreign land is if you become one of them, do you lose yourself? That's the you that you've been for such a long time. Pag human ni kalin laki yun ani para lang for the sake of adjusting, di ba?
To them.
To your new place, to your new
Bitaw,
country,
bitaw.
right? To your new community. For example,
Your new home.
for example, kanang ang mga tao diri sa lugar nga akong giadtuan kay mag-Rolex ang tanan. Mag-Rolex sila niya pag human Tesla.
Tesla ilan.
Whatever
i-drive.
car. Ikaw diha nga magkuan lang ka, magsandaya lang ka. Magsandayal ka kay mahuwat lang ka sa anino sa saan para makibakaon sa orasa, di ba?
Sundial.
Di ba? Niya paghuman imong telepono kay sagit ra. Oy, Justin, naabot na ko.
Oo.
Di ba?
So then-
Ang uban mga cellphone na, di ba? Ni ikaw kung yung uban mag Tesla na, ikaw magkabayo ra ka.
Exactly.
Hono na ako na.
You have to adapt.
Dili ka kaning katawan nila, dili ka nga murag outcast ka nila, di ba? Kinanglan ko
You
imon
have to keep up.
Oh, you have to keep up. Kinanglan imuhang time, imong sandayal, imo na ilabay. Di ba? Kay lisod
Sa
kay
budget.
kung ngit-ngit wala kay oras, di ba?
Wala kay oras.
Di ba? Imong kabayo siguro ibutang na nimo sa imuhang barn kung naa kay barn, kung naa kay farm siguro.
Butang sa stable.
Right? Imuhang mga kinaihan nga dili practical, dili siya gina-practice sa mga tao anang lugar imong usbon para for the sake of assimilation, for the sake of blending in, right? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sakto ba ko, Justin?
Yeah, yeah.
Pero kung ganahan jud ka kabayo, pwede ram siguro ka magkabayo. Pero dito lang sa imuhang farm siguro, di ba? Mo na gisulti nila ko no, Justin nga.
Whatever you do, whatever you want that applies to you,
Yeah.
kay buhaton nimo in your own
Mo
turf.
na gisulti nila, Justin. In the future ko no, this is a very interesting future setting. Of course, we're always wrong about the way we predict the future. Pero mo na ang kuha nila, ay lang prediction nga, kana ko nung auto ko no, eventually, kanang private car, baka kanang your own individual car, even cars in general, will be extinct, will disappear from society eventually. Probably we will have better ways of transporting ourselves, maybe like a train system or whatever, right? Maybe
Hopefully.
a la Star Trek, we can just go to another place using whatever, right? I don't know if you've ever seen Star Trek.
I have not. Kanang
Kanang
flying cars.
Kanang night tube, so lang tube niya. They just go inside the tube and they're transported to another place. I forgot what they call the technology there. Anyway, bottom line is, kana ko ng auto.
Mura day kanang sa medisina sa hospital. Kanang paagi lang sa tube, di ba?
Dili kana imong lawas mo adto naglaing lugar like a kind of a molecular whatever. Anyway.
Okay. So not like how I imagine king
no,
okay.
too.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Di ba sa hospital
Anyway, so ingon sila kuno nga, kana kuno mga auto kuno, dili na i-parking sa balay, kay dili na magamit, i-park na siya og what looks like a kind of farm. So kung ganahan jud ka mag-drive sa imong auto, pareha ra nagkabayo ba? Nga ganahan ka magkabayo, kay di pwede magkabayo sa syudad kay kanang illegal na whatever the reason is. Right? Sa in the future kuno mga auto kuno na lugar murag a kind of farm or a kind of barn or whatever that they keep their horses, para diha ra kang lugar mag-drive og auto nimo. So dili na ka makadrive-drive
Okay.
sa imong padungan o sa imong adtuan o sa imong lugar gikan sa imong lugar handod sa
Kaya
padung
you
sa
have
imong
to
adtuan.
park it at a designated area.
Nanay lugar nga mag-drive-drive ko katong ganahan mag-drive-drive. Kasabot ka murag
okay,
kabayo,
okay.
murag na kuno nagkabayo kuno ang auto kuno in the future.
Okay. Why is that, man?
Because
Save the environment?
because there's already a transport system that has removed the personal car ba.
The need for that.
The need for the personal car. So
You
nobody
know what? Inga naman sad na sa
Mo na-
Europe there.
may tabo sa kabayo.
Oh, there are places man in, I think sa Switzerland, no, going up sa certain cities, kay bawal good ang cars because they're trying to do they're trying to save the environment,
Yeah.
something like that, carbon emission, lessen your carbon footprint and all that. So, naay parts nga ang cars kutubra gid na sa
Correct.
like this part of the city,
Yeah.
and then to get around they use traditional gyapon
Yeah.
kanang makabayo ra gihapon.
Good morning, Brian Lopez. Daghang salamat sa imong pagtan-aw. Kani si Jenny Trazona Justin ba? Kuan ni siya kaning
Jenny Trazona,
taga Barili ni siya ba? Taga Barili ni siya niya. Human kaning relatively she's probably like a few years of running pa ni siya ba. Ni mo anhi mo lugsong gini sa gikan sa Barili
Lugsong.
para mo run
Okay.
mo check in na siya hotel or kaning Airbnb or pension house niya paghuman diha siya mo run kay mo stay siya og lugar nga duol sa site sa run mo na ibuhaton niya. So can you imagine how much commitment, how much financial commitment, how much kaning physical commitment and
It takes.
time to be able to run.
Yeah.
Kay kadaghanan atong nang ni-run, you know, like tagsada kay taga Cebu City ato kay most of them are from out of town. At least taga Manila, na taga Davao, taga Cagayan de Oro, di ba? Daghan kayong out of town. So
Yeah. Most of the people we interviewed, and those who especially who won the medal no sa
Yeah,
atong raffle,
yeah.
all of them are not from Cebu.
mo gyud.
Leyte, So
Cagayan de Oro, Davao, daghan kayong mga lugar, taga Bukidnon.
oh, so I'm proud na they actually come here
Yeah.
for the Cebu Marathon.
Yeah. So atong hisgutan karong buntaga, but it's not necessarily limited to that. Atong
Oh, yeah.
hisgutan karong
Expand
buntaga
it.
is the running scene of Cebu. How do you feel about the running scene of Cebu, and how can we improve upon it? Like we have made some leaps, improvements that are leaps and bounds as far as the running scene is in Cebu, but still a lot of room for improvement because I don't know. I think that's part of the human condition, Jacinza,
Yeah, and
to always want to improve upon things.
and for anyone involved in events
Yeah.
also, ana man gid na, every event you have to learn from like what you could do right sa
Yeah,
past one.
what you
and
can do better
how-
also.
what you can do better.
Di ba?
Ana man gid na.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never
And-
organized a run, so I'm
But-
not in the.
and see the thing is with a lot of things, but especially if it involves a lot of people, a lot of space, kaning you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know
what you don't know.
you don't know.
Kada bang like
That's interesting.
until you actually do it. Na kay mga gitawag na kog blind spots ba. Na mahol kag event in your mind it's all planned out well. You have like meetings, hours and hours of meetings, but you've actually never done it. So di ka kibaw nga kanida dili din na mahimo di ay. Nya kung plano ka pag kung wala nim gi-factor ng uwan, for example,
There.
wa ka kabaw.
Sao na siya?
So, sige gi-factor nimo ang uwan, gi-factor nimo ang uwan. So ingon ka nga,
But
maghimo tag tent, right? Pero wa ka kabaw nga kay nag-uwan man ang uban nga lugar day nga mga tao day nga pariun diri basig nagbaha silang lugar, di ba? You know what I mean? Or naglapok dito or whatever, right? So you can't plan for that. There's so that's why the only way to know what you don't know is to actually do the thing, do the event so that you'll be able to see your blind spots, right? Kaya di mo gina mahitabo nga you see everything. That's not even humanly possible to see everything, right?
yeah, exactly.
So
You know, I just thought of something ba.
Go ahead.
Speaking of the running scene, I'm not very active mong sa running scene except for in terms of like entertainment when I used to perform
Yeah.
at
And-
marathons and fun runs,
Yeah,
and now that
yeah.
I hosted it with Jiggy
Yeah.
and also through the lens of a responder
In case you're wondering,
Oh.
see, Justin Narvis is also a performer. If you want to have a performer
Yeah, guys.
and a host, please hit us up. And Justin Narvis, if she's able to find a wiggle room from her very busy schedule as a future
wiggle room.
as a future top-notch lawyer, as a future performer, I think she already is a performer. Just hit us up so that you'll know whether
Thank
she's
you.
available or not. You're about
Yeah.
to say something.
Thank you
and
for thank you for that, Jiggy. No?
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
And that's fine. That's fine. Thank you for that. I always appreciate how you're always hyping me up, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, by the way, just
I,
needs a-
well,
I'm always like, oh.
hyping up is for those that are not true, right? So I'm not hyping you up.
Okay.
I'm just stating facts here.
promoting it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jiggy.
yeah, okay.
Where was I?
Yeah.
Sa fun run mismo.
Yeah, yeah.
I kanang limited man gyud kayo akong knowledge on that labi na because I don't join.
But you have a very unique perspective, lagi, because
Lahing
you're
perspective,
part
yes.
of Revo, right? And
Yeah.
that's really like the inner workings. Na
Oh, yeah.
In a
It
way,
is.
you have an inside look.
Yeah,
And
through that.
maybe you're too close inside the emergency health component of the event that you probably don't see
outside.
the other parts also.
Yes,
But
exactly.
that's a very unique and inside look
yeah,
perspective.
a
It's
different lens.
Very valuable also.
So karon, I'm wondering, how did they do it pag pandemic? Like,
oh,
how did they do that?
daghan kayo,
Wala ko kabaw sa-
daghan kayo virtual run.
How does that work, man? Like, what's a
kuan
virtual
lang ka,
run?
virtual run is you sign up. Ang Cebu Marathon even did their own virtual run. Buhaton nimo
Okay.
mo sign up ka. Let's just say I signed for the 42K, and then you pay for a shirt, and they'll send you the shirt, right?
okay.
And then anisay lang siya, anisay. So buhaton nimo mo run ka. Pag human imong isubmit imong time. Imong isubmit
Oh, what
imong
if you
time.
cheat? Oh, you just don't cheat lang, kid. Proof
No.
of photo. Like
Yeah,
you
like
use an
pa-
old timer like
kanang,
that.
Kanang mo cheat ka og run.
Nah.
Pareha ra na og mo cheat ka og eskwelahan.
Ikaw reloy na.
Ikaw reloy in the end because di ka kibaw. So ikaw mo pero dili man siya murag wala man siguro.
So run at your own terrain, run at your own.
No, naay ruta. Naay ruta.
gihapoy ruta.
So you have to run at this
Yeah,
route.
mag-social distancing lang.
No, dili man siya necessarily magdungan mag-run. Mura siya 1 month or maybe 1 year period,
Wow, that's
whatever, right?
smart.
So you can run anytime, anywhere, at any time at your pace, of course, at any time of the day, and then
Basta follow that route.
follow that route. Pag human imong i-submit imong time, mo na siya.
Okay, that's nice. They accounted for that part kay kung
Yeah.
dili route. I was thinking, saan nila mag-treadmill lang sila niya
Yeah.
send ni mong time.
Yeah,
So,
nagiruta.
ruta, good.
Yeah, in fact, there's actually a.
and they did that.
They did that, and there's actually a more technologically advanced way of doing it.
okay.
Nga imong i-submit ang imong time sa Strava or kanang whatever app you have on your phone
okay.
na masulod nimo sa relo, di ba? So imong i-submit na siya. So dili man na siya lisod na tikason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So pwede magaling
Yeah, i-track pa yun sa satellite if you
correct,
actually went to
correct.
that route.
So people did that.
Okay, that's smart.
So that's what we
Okay,
did.
how about the awarding? So online, mag-virtual awarding lang sila.
Murag walay winner ang kuan
Walay
ang
winner,
virtual running. Wala
Pwede
lang.
naman sad na i-award ang awarding kay at the
pero-
end of the month
pero
online.
I don't remember kaning na ay sa tawag ni awarding. May buntag ni mo diya Kite Zef. Hello Sir Jiggy, shout out to all the brethren who are having a rally for peace in SRP. Rally for peace.
Really?
I don't know what.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know there was a war. What is this, like for Ukraine? What is this? I'd like to know what peace are we talking about?
Yeah, what rally for what?
Yeah,
And then are these students or these
Unsa man nga raliha Kite?
okay, usually di ba taga mga UP man ang mag-lead? Is that a thing?
That's a stereotype.
Is that no, because naka-experience gid ko,
Yeah.
nakakita ko nga
Yeah.
students gid sa UP.
Yeah.
I've never seen a rally in my life, Jiggy.
Mo
Ha?
na giningon nila kani mga taga UP, mga rebelde gini. You know what I mean? Mo gina siya. So
Kaya I've never seen a real, rally.
Really?
The first time I've
you
seen
have never seen a rally. Are you kidding me right now?
like in person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've only seen one. And you know what it was?
Okay,
UP gihapon.
Asa
So
man?
very limited.
Asa man?
I forgot asa to nga
Wait,
nga students nila.
Kanang rally, okay. Kanang rally. Maybe you
Maybe the definition's loosely and
yeah. Kanang rally, kanang naay grupo ug mga naay mga group of people for or against something mo nang rally.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Because I have seen a political rally, so, that doesn't count.
Political rally is
Yeah.
a rally.
I meant
because they're for
kanang-
something.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you call that? What kind of rally is it?
Protest rally.
Yes, thank you.
Protest
That's
rally.
That's the
So
one.
kung naa kay
I've only seen one in my life.
naa kay dili ganahan nga mahitabo o nahitabo, ganahan ka magpahibaw sa imong disgust or sa imong dili ka ganahan anang butanga, magrally ka posible po na.
Oh,
So that's a
peaceful
protest rally.
Yeah. I've only seen one.
Really? Unsa mo to nga ilang kaos sa ilang protestahan?
Something like LGBT rights masiguro to, no? Now I can't remember where I saw it, pero they were students from UP.
Usually ang sa UP ra na sila magrally ang area ha. Diya sa Lahog
I don't think
Dapita.
it was there.
Yeah.
Dugay naman ni, but yeah, I think they also just have it put in their school, no? Because I have friends from UP that join man the peaceful protest, something like that. So yeah, it's interesting put. Ikaw Jiggy, taga UP man ka.
Okay.
Have you tried?
Rally?
Yeah, did you join before?
I think I probably did. I can't remember a lot, but
Yeah.
probably.
And what was it, man?
Probably, I've joined several political rallies, but I probably
yeah.
joined. This was during the EDSA days. I think I joined those sort of rallies. But ako man good like.
You mean protest?
You can, especially now with social media. I think there are probably better ways to show
Without being physically there,
your disgust
Or support.
Your support. There's a myriad of ways to do that. And I think one of the things that we're doing, you and I, Justine, is very important to have a conversation about something, right? It's more. I think that's also an effective way of understanding and trying to institute a kind of change, because it all begins in the brain. It all begins in the mind, right? Because so nakaibuta nga dili ganahan, imong akong automatic response is to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's to talk about it. Let's talk about this. So I don't start with I don't like this. I start with let's talk about this. Nga naman.
And nga naman.
Nga naman, nga. And then like I then slowly bring in my
Your
thought-
opinion?
my thoughts on the matter, but it has to be two-way, because not liking something doesn't automatically make it a bad thing, right?
Yeah. That's an automatic.
Maybe-
thing. And
maybe-
not everyone will have the
maybe-
same perspective.
Maybe you lack information.
Kana.
Right? Mo gina
Katong
para
imong
nako
giingon
mo gina
nga-
para nako pinakaimportante. Kuwang ra na og kuan, kuwang ra ka og informasyon na lang kay wan hibalan nganong
And mao na imong giingon pod nga kanang ignorance.
yeah, ignorance, yeah.
Some people they don't like things or they disagree.
Yeah, you're angry
Not-
about something not because you're angry about it because you lack information.
Yeah.
Kuwang ra na gamay informasyon nga murag maybe it's your blind spot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's a thing that you'll never see because you have this thing that you're. Yeah. I'm talking in generalities because I want to be able to reach out to a wider audience. Akong pasabutan na is naay mga butang nga dili ka makakita kay you have a kind of set of blinders maybe.
A blind
Or
spot.
na naandan nga dili kaganahan nga mausab, di ba?
Or you're not exposed to.
Yeah, you're not exposed
that
to it.
siguro.
Yeah. Pareha gud anang kuan gud kanang bitong mga damgo nato.
Mm.
You can never dream of something you've never actually seen, right? Be it in books or to actually be there. For example, kung sa imong society, sa imong lugar, imong makitaan na gyud ang babae na sa balay, ang manrabaho kay lalaki, more gini nakita nimo.
Kana nga system.
Wa ka nakabasa, wa ka nakaatog laing lugar. So imong pagtuo nga mo na gina siya. Dili na gina mausab. Kay wala man kakibaw. Wa man kay nakakita, wa ka nakabasa.
And like that's kanang patriarchal ba na siya imong gipasabot?
Yeah, patriarchal society. So
mabaguhan ka sa
kung naanda na nimo mo na nakita nimo wa kay nakitang lain mo gid mo na imong kamatuoran.
Yeah.
Yang imong
And that happens to a lot of I feel like the older people would.
so-
And there's nothing wrong with that. It
so-
just so happens nga mao na imong
naandan.
naandan.
So makakita ka og kaning lugar nga narabaho ang babay, mura kag masuko. Mura kag mahibongan ng trabaho mo gaday.
Is that the case of a lot of kanang Westerners ba?
O nganong trabaho mo gaday nga dili makakailangan man trabaho nga imo man ang trabaho man sa imong bana. You know what I mean? So daghan kayo mga butang nga maglagot ta tungod kay kuwang atong information. What about how they got there? Niya paghuman kung imo nang tukion gyud, kung imo gyud ang pangitaon unsam gyud ugat
how you
anang
use tuki. Unsa ganin meaning ana
you
tuki?
talk about it.
Talk about it.
If you really want to investigate, right?
Okay.
Taas kay ng storyaha. Di ba? Kay napay mga feminist movement, civil rights movement, blah blah blah. The list just goes on. Are you willing to listen? You know what I mean?
Are you willing to actually
Understand ngano man
Yeah.
ang nayunani man eh. Di ba?
because some people also when you have a conversation most of the time it's too it's
Simplistic.
too,
Yeah. Sayon kanang because if you want to know the full story, then let's sit down and have a conversation. Mo na sa importante kay natong gibuhat Justin. Nga, and I
and
think
look at all aspects.
Yes.
That's why the question it's important also the art of questioning.
Yeah.
That's why I like
Yeah.
sometimes when Jiggy would question
Yeah.
like when we talk about a specific topic.
Yeah.
If you notice guys, Jiggy's very particular about sources.
Yeah, yeah.
So where did you get this? Where did you get that? And
Yeah, yeah.
it would be nice. Maybe it's because Jiggy's in media ba?
Okay.
Or he would always try to remind me nga, try to look at different articles, try
Yeah.
to look at kanang macro to
Yeah.
micro.
Yeah. And
Kay
from
daman
from
yun.
from also the opposing side, importante kini sana Justin nga what are my opponents? What are the opponents of this particular belief or fact or complaint saying about it? Tanaw sa nimo unsay may nganong
Why do they say this? Unsa nila
nganong
maglagot nilang comment?
O nganong sulti mo sila na unsa sakto ni sila or dili. So dili kay mo lagi we have a tendency to just feed whatever it is that we think is true. You know what I mean? Napoy uban Justin. This is a very important kaning point ba nga you can't tell somebody that something is not true if his or her job depends on that thing to be
You
true.
can't tell somebody that's
Moingon
not true.
moingon ka nga, let's just say for example, kanang diamond lagi barato ra na siya, dili na tinuod kanang diamond kaning let's just say barato ra na siya. Pero ang akong trabaho is depends on the diamond.
You're counting on that.
Just the diamond's value. Kaya wa ko'y sweldo, wa ko'y trabaho kung ang diamond barato ra na. So mo na siya, you cannot convince somebody
That it's not true.
something is not true if their job depends
Depends on that.
on that thing to be true. Mo na siya. So ay na lang
So don't
ay na lang napugsa ang pare nga sulti nga why
Kana. That's a good example.
why Ginoo kay ilang
his
trabaho, ang ilang panginabuhi, ang ilang life's work depends on God to be true, right?
Exactly.
Ayaw na lang nagkonbinsera ang usa ka leader nga democracy doesn't work because is not good because
When his whole
his
campaign
his,
is based
his
off of
whole ideology, his whole belief is out the window, and there is no more place for him in the scheme of things, right? So be careful matter when
Slippery slope kay na
that's the
siya, no?
slippery slope. So tanawa sa imo
Unsa man iyang context also?
asa man na siya trabaho. Unsa man iyang panginabuhi, unsa man iyang gibuhat. Kung gikan na siya nga lugar diha. So for example, maghisgot ka, let's just say pollution for example. Gatrabaho siya og tag-iya siya og factory. So ni konbinsero na nimo ang factory owner nga kani nga dili ta maghimo og ganing mga auto og mga motor kay maka-traffic na or maka-pollute na sa environment. Dili na mahimo sir. Lisod na siya pasabton. But there's always a way to help him understand and see the big picture, right? For example, sir, kanay imong factory sir, kung wala na tay kalibutan, kung mga
Then it
matay na tanan,
wouldn't.
useless na siya.
Yeah.
So there's still a way to convince the person whose livelihood depends on something to be true. Otherwise, there's no livelihood, there's no factory. But taas-taas pag storya. Dili mo madayon
Exactly.
makumbinser dayon, di ba? Kaya ang ilahang panginabuhi nagsaligman nga kanang butanga tinuod na. Kung dili na tinuod, then what's like panginabuhi in the first place, di ba?
Yeah, I like that you brought it up,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
very relatable sa
Yeah,
religion
yeah.
katulingon sa mga pari.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that, no? That there's no use trying to convince them about
Yeah.
whether God exists or not. Kaya that's their livelihood, that's
Yeah.
their lifestyle.
Then mo man ilang naandan sa, di ba?
Kanapod.
So nagyud tay ganahan nga butang nga nagyud tay mga secret hopes and dreams, natay mga pangandoy nga ganahan ta nga tinuod. We have ideas, we have thoughts, we have beliefs nga ganahan ta mga tinuod. Our secret hearts, our heart's secret desires, our desires. We desire this to be true. So mangita gyud tag paagi nga matinuod na, di ba? Nga matinuod na siya. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that's if you want to know the truth, then that's a bad place to start because imong gibuhat is naguna ka sa imuhang pagtuo pag humanangita kag ebidensya wala nimo gibali ang correct way of doing it is
Find evidence.
Find evidence first before something is true. So kung gauna ka og let's just say kaning teleponuha mahal kay ni tanan kay ang nagamit ani si Elvis Presley. Di ba? Kaning
Okay.
teleponuha, si Elvis Presley din nagamit na niya. Pero but like you have to investigate also whether it's true or not, right?
So your advice is to look for proof first,
Yeah.
before having an opinion.
Yeah.
Not the
yeah.
other way around.
Not the other way around.
Some people start with the opinion
Yeah.
and then
And then look for evidence for it, right?
okay. What's an example of that? What's an example of like when you have an opinion? Oh, okay. Let's say like in karon this year mag elections.
Yeah, okay.
So like for some reason they just feel drawn to this specific candidate.
Yeah,
Without any wala pa gyud explanation, like they just feel lang na kung murag nindot ni siya compared to this one.
Yeah.
So then they already have that murag gisemet na in their head nga kani akong
Maayo ni
vote
siya.
for.
Maayo siya.
Then they look for evidence.
Yeah. So
you would advise the other way around na
ingon
mangita
sila-
sa ka.
mangita sa ka og ebidensya before ka motuo. So for example, ingon ka nga ingon siya nga let's just say
Ito, no?
let's have an example based on your candidate example. Let's follow that rabbit hole. Nga ingon sila nga buutan makini si candidate A. Buutan kini siya tanan. Anong buutan man? Kay kanang lumay kay masulti kanang
What's lumay?
Kada bang murag paraygon kay ba?
What
Kanang paraygon ba? Mura pag kaning very
charismatic.
no charismatic
Nga na?
is different. Kanang paraygon ba kanang mura og kaning if it feels like your dad murag fatherly kaayo or
Okay.
motherly kaayo niya
So
pagkuman
paraygon means caring, di ba?
caring niya
Considerate and very compassionate.
oh niya
There we
pagkuman
go.
istorya nila kanang mura og naagi po kanang matinhoron kaayo.
And a lot of times
ana,
these
di
people
ba?
in public authority nga naman sa
Yeah, yeah.
og
Oh.
disposition.
Oh,
Okay?
kay politika gud sila gud. So,
Yeah, of course.
So, mayo kay ng tao siya. So nito na din kana, right? With that very small sample size, right? Which is I believe is carries a lot of weight. At
It
least.
does.
Pero
Your
dili
charisma also has a lot to do
so
with,
mo
like,
na
how
imong
people
so,
trust you.
so kausa ra ka nakakita na niya ever in your life. So pag
Maybe that one interview, that one video.
Oh,
kana.
kausa ra pag human mo na imong pagtuo sa tibuok nimong kinabuhi, wa ka kibaw nga kawatan day na siya, wa ka kibaw nga matay din na siyang tao, wa ka kibaw nga kaning kung makistorya na sa iyang mga trabahante kaning bastos kay baba or
Batig-batasan.
batig-batasan, maningka, managpa, mangulata, what you don't know the whole picture, right? So mo na siya example. So ikaw mangita lang ang ebidensya nga buutan siya. So naman siya mga buutan nga mga gipambuhat po. So mura na nagsantos para nimo kay iyang tanan nga buhot binuhatan nga
Or
buutan
to
siya.
justify that belief that you've
Buutan
already
siya.
cemented
So
at
mo
the
super
very
mo
beginning.
impose mo ang pagtuo nga buutan na siya. So mo na siyang murag bias nimo ba? Murag gitawag og bias.
You know what?
Diba?
I'm glad that you brought this up now.
Yeah.
And maybe we can talk about. We should definitely talk about this
Yeah.
again when we talk
Yeah.
about mga truths again. When we
Yeah.
define that, which we're always doing here sa top of the morning, guys.
And I think it's relevant to this conversation about the running scene in Cebu because
Yes.
daghan mo kayong nakita na kong ni-judge din sila, daghan kay sila mga conclusions dayon
Okay.
without even allowing time to elapse. Kay bago pagali niya, wata ka ba unsa man ding natabo din nganong kuwang mag medals, nganong kuwang man og tubig, nganong kuwang man og this and kuwang og that, di ba? And you don't know the actual story. You don't know the full story. And I don't think Mangod Justine said nga we will ever know the full story.
You don't think we will ever
Know the full story without time. Kay time Mangod allows things to be, right? Time. Hey, Kuya Magic. Kuya Magic is here.
Okay, Magic's here, guys.
Thank you, Kuya Magic. So time allows Mangod for something to
For us to gather evidence and
reveal itself about
Yeah.
things to reveal themselves sometimes, diba?
And so, if you notice, guys, since the beginning of the show, we talked about like on some mga different lenses of understanding the marathon, the running scene, and then now we're talking about like how do we process manggiday that experience,
Yeah,
no? And
yeah.
then Jiggy's telling us the importance of like before building a bias or cementing your belief onto something.
Yeah.
Kana bitaw murag you're so convinced of something, you have to do your research first, not the
Yeah.
other way around,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And I'm a victim of that.
Yeah.
There are so many times that like I'll probably see one video
Okay.
on social media and then I'll be so convinced of something without doing the research pa, or I'll do research after already having that belief.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And sometimes, Justin, I mean, like, I'm guilty of that. Everybody's guilty
No.
of that. When you see a video,
Yeah,
and then-
convincing ba?
convincing ka. But see,
Then
the
diha
thing-
pa ko mo research
but
after.
but you have to understand, you were primed to believe in that video. So the believing in a video is not one act.
Okay.
You know, seeing a video is not one act. Prior to that, you already know certain things
Yeah.
to be true, right? So
Yeah, mas na-
especially with
reinforce lang.
especially with social media now nga na yung mga algorithms
Yeah.
and all of that stuff, right? So ang mahitabuan na is you're just primed to believe in that video. So
So mao na siya, the video came up.
yeah, dili
that
ka
kind of video.
dili ka makaingon nga nakakita ka ng video ni tuorin ka. No,
Okay.
It's not as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because you were
Because
primed to
that has something to do with also your recent behavior.
Yeah,
What
your
are the
your bias.
topics that
Yeah,
your biases,
your biases,
that
yeah.
you're already looking into?
your
nga.
community,
Oh.
your
Kana po.
your parents, your society, whatever. Your environment, in other words, but primed you to believe.
So
That
it's
is-
not. It's also wrong to saying murag di tuora pud ka. Maybe it's a product of many things.
It looks like it. It looks
Yeah,
like
it looks
it.
like it.
Yeah.
Product of many things, but yeah, I think it's also important, like you mentioned, to give things some time for us to solidify it. Banga.
Yeah.
Why they came to be.
Yeah. Kaya
Why things happen the way that they happen.
Yeah, because kanang truth magud sometimes magud kanang mga secrets sometimes they're closely guarded and it takes effort to closely guard things, right? So in time ang mga guard ang dili na kayo hugot. Pareha go nag-conversation nga taas-taas good. Kung mag-istorya ka og tao for 5 minutes, grabe ka na sila ka uncomfortable maybe. I'm so uncomfortable with the chair, for example, or the temperature, or even the person's way of interviewing you. Pero the more you talk, the more relaxed they become, the more real the conversation becomes, the more truth comes out. So mo nang sikat kaya na ang long form podcasting, long form interview because you're slowly chopping away the person's guard. So mo na nga makakita ka og mga podcast nga. I don't know if you've ever seen a podcast. I never actually finished it. Na mga 5 hours, 8
so
hours.
cool.
Napay bathroom break. Uy, mingon pa si Kuan, si Joe Rogan or si Sam Harris or whoever these people are, si Destiny. We're going to take a bathroom break. We'll be right back. You know what it is? Limo.
Yeah, kaya ano
Walo
man.
ka oras ka storya.
Oh, 8 hours, grabe na, no? Pero, I can just imagine. I mean, it's possible, Maji, kita we yak and yak, magani nga,
yeah.
wala tay. Kana sila, they even have their own, not really script. Well, yeah, script writers, they even have topics outlined
Yeah,
already per episode.
Daghan kay
Nga
na
daghan
tao.
kay nag sub-question, sub-topic, this and that, specific evidence,
That grabe kay team.
statistics.
It's a team who does
kita
that.
wala man gani tay usahay most cases ha, although we do come prepared, we do have times nga natin mga certain news to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Enough for 8 hours, we can yak ra mga
Absolutely, man.
we can yap and yap
Yeah,
and
we
yap.
can yak and yak. Maayong buntag ni Pina Nicolai Enriquez. Kaya si Nicolai, band member na siya sa Nicolai.
Sarban?
Banda na niya.
Oh, cool. That's his name?
Named after his band also. Ang iyahang,
Whoa.
ang iyahang ngan siyang banda. Oh, Nicolai lagi. Oh, si Nicolai, daghang salamat sa imuhang
Thank you for
participate.
joining us.
Atong hisgutan kanang buntaga, Nicolai, is how do you feel about the running scene in Cebu? How do you feel about it? Let me know your thoughts on the matter. But we were talking about a bigger story here, which is part of how people judge things is the information that we need and is required to complain, right? To judge something as bad or good, right?
Yeah. How do we form an opinion about something?
Yeah. And I think opinions are, first of all, a dime a dozen. Everybody, they saying opinions are like, butts. Everybody has one, right? right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think for you to form a cohesive opinion, I think you need to get to know a lot of information. And sometimes, magud, again, our tendency, tapulan ta. Like we always, I'm making a generalization, right? But I think this is true for most people. Tapulan kita, we want the easy way, right? Right?
Yeah. I mean,
Sakto ba ka, Justin?
yeah. I mean,
Kung
convenience
kung-
is part of our the need. Not even wanting, the need for convenience
Yeah.
is like deeply integrated into
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah.
Why would we want to make ourselves
Ngayon maglisod-lisod mo kita,
listen?
di ba?
And I think that comes from that kanang human nature magid nato
Correct.
is to
Correct.
avoid pain and at all costs avoid suffering
Yeah.
and to maximize
Pleasure. Yeah.
So, syempre, we look for whatever is convenient
That's
to
why
us.
that's why there's a cell phone. That's why
Ay
there's a
na.
computer
That's
because
why
of
we
our
use
desire
technology.
to make things a
Easier.
little bit easier, right?
Yeah, for us.
But like I love telling this to my kids, and I love saying this, not just because I believe this to be true. This is also a kind of reminder to myself as well, especially when like when my son was having a hard time with the exams and all of that stuff. Every time they feel that something is hard, I tell them, life is good because it's hard. Life is good because it's hard. If it were not hard, it would not be good, because you know why? That's why you have a sense of accomplishment if you do some hard things, right? You know what I mean? Like that's why a building is beautiful, not just because it looks beautiful to your eyes, but there's so much work required to build that building. So, ano rin ang kinabuhi? Kung sayon rin ang kinabuhi, then where's the fun in that? Where's the fun? Where is the thing that makes it worthwhile?
Yeah, and in pursuing anything, that's also like that also applies to how the goal itself is not necessarily like the most beautiful thing
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
not.
No, it's the journey towards
The
getting
journey,
that, and
yeah.
and that's what makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like going to school, I would say. Sometimes we in pursuit of like trying to get good grades, you also overlook and forget the people that help you get there ba. Kanang mo friends that help you study and all that. And so those are what make that's what makes it beautiful, the entire
Yeah,
school journey.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually the people that you meet along the way, the friendships forged, and also the struggle.
The struggles, yeah.
The struggle
Ingon
itself
sila
makes it
kono, when you
beautiful.
look back in your life, you'll never remember the happy times. You'll remember the hard times. You know,
That's
like
a
buanga ato sa gubat atong una, hapit ko na igubala,
or
whatever.
paita atong pandemic
Oh,
wa mi
katong
kagawas.
kato atong marathon nung gatakian ko from 21 kilometers to 42 kilometers. That's a story that I'll be telling for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Kaya nagantos man ka to, grabe na kayo mapagantos sa to kanang mga hayahay kay mga butak tagsara ka makinumdum na. I think
Why is that? It's ironic, ha? Human nature
yeah.
is to avoid suffering, to maximize pleasure.
Yeah, yeah.
And yet, when it comes to looking back on memories,
Okay.
we would rather look at the difficulty than the positive times. It's opposite. Bali noon, di ba?
Well,
It's opposite to our nature. Why is that?
I think we have to qualify it. I think I mean extreme feelings ba? Extreme feelings. Maybe your life has been a breeze, physically.
And all the extreme
physically. You know what I mean?
okay.
Maybe you never had a heartbreak, for example, right?
So all the extreme emotions are
yeah.
nakatapok and encapsulated
Yeah.
in specific moments of your life that are negative.
And
Okay.
kanasang extreme pain
what you
manggod.
remember?
Extreme pain manggod sad. Let's just say kanang heartbreak lang, for example. You don't break your heart doesn't break if there were no happy moments. Your heart doesn't break if you don't love the person, right? So kanang heartbreak more na siya ending sa something so beautiful. So for example, you were together for 20 years, right? You all were very happy. On the 21st year, you broke up, for example. Ang amang mahinumduman to nimong 20 years, of course, ra? In
Human
detail.
as we are.
Pero ang mas mahinumduman mo ang nagbuwag mo, right? You're not gonna look back at that person and say, "Oh, I love you because of."
I remember the good times.
For example, the person cheated on you, for example, right? So mo to minumduman mo. Kaya namuwag man mo, right?
So it's not necessarily that
ka,
it's-
you wasted our 20 years, for example. That narrative ba? So one thing just destroyed 20 years, pretty much. So mo na siya, that's human nature.
Okay.
Human
so,
nature na siya.
So it's also a part of human nature to remember a specific or like mga negative experiences.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that we prefer that over positive. It just
Yeah.
means that our emotions are kanang naka-compress siya manggod at that time. And those are like markers of our lives, no?
And I
Okay.
think Magod, it's
Bitaw,
also
no?
it's probably it's a wrong labeling also. Wrong you're
Why-
you're
why
labeling it wrongly ba. Let's say we're lazy, we're simplistic, we want things to be easy and convenient. We immediately label things to be good or bad. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Good or bad. Simple lang ba?
Yeah, I'm like that. Yeah, I'm a very black and white person.
It's either good or bad, right?
Yes.
Pero you can say
Gray
like,
areas.
you were less happy now than you were before. You know what I mean? But doesn't mean that you're not happy. You know, you're still alive. You know what I mean? Maybe nagbuwag na mo niya. For example, I'm making a relatable topic. Nagbuwag naman niya. Maybe you're no longer with that person that you love so much, and it thought that you were going to live with that person until you die, but you're still alive, right? You know, after those 20 years. So you're probably less happy because that person is gone from your life, but that doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
So to label that breakup as a bad thing is just bad labeling, because you're not the world did not end with a breakup. You're still alive, and that's so much to be happy about. Mo na siyang gratefulness, yun ba nga mentality ba, importante attitude of gratitude ba. Importante kaya nga you have to be able to understand nga you may no longer be with that person, but you're still alive, and who knows, you might meet another person that will also make you just as happy, right? Right? So mo na siyang pasabot ako nga that life is beautiful because it's hard. Mo na siya nakanilot sa kinabuhi nga the bigger the heartbreak, grabe kay ka heartbroken, but you know, watch out for the bounce back.
We should talk about that in another topic. That's a
Yeah.
very good topic now,
Yeah.
about how suffering and struggles are supposed to make life beautiful.
Yeah.
Because then the kind of people would also probably can relate and argue ba nga, does it automatically mean that the bigger the struggle, the more the more beautiful it is, something like that.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Kanang mga dato, mga spoiled brats, di ba?
Okay.
Kanang wala gina sila naka-feel og adversity silang kinabuhi. Wa gina sila naka-feel
The struggle.
nga unsa kalisod diay mangitag kwarta, for example, na tao na sila nga naay kwarta na daan niya. Wa pagit sila gitagaan og kaning opportunity to suffer by their parents, di ba? Kaya pwede man nga dato ka pero dili mo tagag kwarta imong anak. Pwede man ang inana, di ba? So again, lain na po ng problema na kay resent na po ng bata nga daghan kay akong papa dato kay tanan
Pero
paghuman
wala hatag
wa
kwarta.
gyud ko tagay kwarta da that's another problem,
That's
right?
a different
pero
story.
pero so that's why it's important nga kanang most of the parents you don't really reveal your true capacity, for example ba, para dili
okay.
sa ma-spoil imong mga anak magsalig lang ba.
Or even if you reveal your true capacity, you have to make them understand why.
Mo lagi, pero
your
kung-
money is not for them to shell out and spend
Mo lagi
as they
pero
please.
pero posible sa mo resent sila ba, you know
Well,
what I mean?
that's why you have to make them understand.
Yeah.
That's the thing too.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's why. So anyway, again, we're lazy, right? So we want to be able to make it as easy as we can, right? So muna siya. So lisod yun na siya nga kanang tawhana maglisod yun na sa kinabuhi when he goes out there in the real world. Muna sila kadaghanan nila kanang their lives are meaningless. You know what I mean? Like magadik-adik, kasi maghikog, hibong lang ka nga dato kay siya, gwapo kay siya, kaning gwapa kay asawa pero maghikog, you don't know these things ba because you don't know the real story nganong inaanap na sila kay spoiled sila. Wa sila naka-feel og
Bitaw,
problema.
no? You know that I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cases ngayon nga na bitaw come from well-off families. Yeah. They go that route. Ba?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't think of that.
Yeah,
That's
mo
true.
nang nindot kay na sa nang gibuhat nila ni, I don't know if you read about this, but murag kanang si I think it was Bill Gates or it may have been Rupert Murdoch or one of those guys nga murag ilang mga anak gidisinherit nila ba.
Disinherit.
Mura sila wala
Grabe, no?
they're not gonna be able to enjoy the billions, hundreds of billions of dollars
That their
the parents have because it's going to be in a
different
trust
fund.
in a fund in a foundation and all of that stuff. So they're probably given like a certain amount just
An allowance.
just to thrive and survive and not given exorbitant amounts of money, because I think one of the greatest gifts that a parent can give is really the gift of hard work, the gift of not having things. I think that's a kind of gift in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
Nga tagaan ka og kawadon ba? Nga I'm not saying it's a good thing for a lot of people, but it can be a good thing ba?
Yeah.
Nga
My
kung-
parents always say
yeah.
also that's the thing.
Parehara na the gift of exercise good.
Oh yeah.
Nga palakon ka, di ba?
Yeah.
Nga ayaw na
But you have to want it
Yeah.
for yourself though. Like
Yeah.
that's what my parents say.
Yeah.
Like they can suggest ideas to you of like how you want to live your life.
Yeah.
But if that's not how you want to live, maglisod you'll not find a. They're all mere
Yeah, but how you
suggestions lang ba?
kanang how you live your life also, kanang nga kind of lesson is really come usually from home. It's really like a parent's thing, right?
What do you mean?
Hi, Kuya Magic.
Hi, Kuya
Yeah,
Magic.
So importante kay nastanan nga importante kay nastanan nga tudluan nimo imong anak unsaon pag navigate through the world, right? Because that's a compass situation, a compass problem ba? You know what a compass is, right? A compass that tells you where north, east, and west and south is, and I think that's a lesson that has to be learned at home, right?
What do you mean?
Kanang
What do you mean? How is it related to a compass? What do you mean?
Navigation ba? How to
okay.
navigate through
Okay.
the world ba?
Bali, it's a tool given to you, and
Yeah.
then it's up to you on how you're gonna like.
Yeah, importante kay na nga your parents teach you how to navigate through the world. Mo na ang akong gisulti sa one of my biggest philosophies in child raising is not
Child raising.
your job as a parent is not to make your kids happy. Your job is to make them ready for the world. Mo gina ko
that's
ang
nice. That's
mo gina
nice.
nga ko ang philosophy about raising children. Si Kuya Magic is
Yeah.
also a parent.
Hi.
Good morning, Good morning, Kuya Magic.
Good morning. Good
Yeah,
morning.
are you?
We were just talking about navigation, and how what we teach our kids so that when they grow up, they'll be able to understand and
Be
navigate
ready.
through the world properly. How do you how do you view your role as a parent, as a dad?
Well, I mean, it's well well before I had kids, I never planned on or never wanted kids. I thought it was like everybody laughed and joked about it.
Okay.
But
What do you mean? Everybody laughed that you didn't want a kid? That's
well,
what-
no, I think it was just like, oh, you're a parent now, kind of thing, or you
surprise.
yeah, it's kind of like that. And then I think when I had my first child, it was like, I love this.
Okay.
This is what I want. Why didn't I have one sooner? And then I guess
Was
not
it-
not
okay.
only is it just being a parent, and it's actually it molds you and shapes you as a person, because not only are you in control of your own life, you're also in the works of nurturing and bringing up someone, another person's
That's so
life,
true.
and you learn so much from it.
Okay,
and
okay.
I think it's what I needed, especially in my life, coming from a
Okay.
from a party DJing kind of like
Okay.
fallout kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's a big whack in the face, and,
Okay.
and it's also
a
a good
whack in the face.
a whack in the face. Yeah,
so-
it's a wake up call.
So how do you think your role is as a parent? How do you situate yourself now? Because you look like parenting has changed you for the better. But how about these very young and moldable minds called kids?
Yeah.
What do you think is your role for them?
I think the most important thing was I wouldn't want my child to turn out, not following the same mistakes that I have made in my
Okay,
life.
okay.
So I guess in a way, it's
Your
about
life is like a
putting them
cautionary
on the
tale?
right track and being a great role model.
Okay.
In a way, and if having a child is kind of like a second chance in the mistakes that you've done.
Your second chance. Okay.
chance.
Yeah, in kind of like making sure that everything that you've been through as a parent or an adult or your younger years, make sure that your kids don't go through the same.
And follow.
And I
Well-
mean, one of the biggest difficulties that we have now in this generation is obviously we have the internet, we have all of these AI, we have all of these things that
Okay.
weren't available to us
Okay.
when we were kids. So-
When you say your kids are like a second chance, a chance for you to make amends, a chance for you to do things better through them, right? Through your kids,
Yeah.
right? But,
Yeah.
But how about you? Why don't you give yourself a second chance? Because you
Well, all the things that- yeah.
with not through your other children, because you're living vicariously through the eyes and the hearts of your child, right? But how about you? Why don't you give yourself a second chance? Why does it have to be another life, another person in the form, shape of a child? Why don't you give yourself a second
Well, that's
chance?
a good question, Jiggy. Actually, I think the biggest answer to your question is like, with what I've been through in my life, the experiences and trying all these different things and learning these things, I don't wish to go back in time and change things.
Okay.
Because if I did, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I guess it's more of a life lesson that I've learned, and I know these things, and I know what certain things can do,
Okay.
and relaying that information to my children. Swearing was one of the biggest things that when I was a kid, and
Okay.
I was hearing it all the time. But
Okay.
now it's like, the kids are aware. If they hear a bad word, they're like, "Oh, that's a bad word." So it's like,
Okay.
it's all about
Changing the narrative. for
changing,
them.
yes, and also making sure that most importantly, they don't make the same mistakes that I made, like in terms of like decisions.
Okay. Okay.
I guess. And answering your question about me and
Yeah.
why I can change, I mean, I think I've changed, but I always feel it's a little too late.
Okay. Okay.
But
what do you mean by too late? If you don't
I mean,
mind.
like the decisions and the actions of my past that I had greatly has affected me now.
Okay.
But with implementing the things that I've learned, and just it's kind of like you go to a casino and you lose all your money. It's
Okay.
like
Okay.
you lose all your money.
It's
you
gone.
don't lose your life.
Okay.
Money's replaceable. You can work to get it
Okay,
back.
but all your money is gone, right?
Yeah,
And you've learned.
so-
The lesson that you've learned there
yeah.
is not to gamble.
Yeah, not to gamble.
Okay,
I mean, that's
so-
not a
so
situation.
so
for me,
you
but
so
it's
you
just
can't
an example.
so you can't go back to the casino and
and say, "Give me my money back."
No, there's no
Or
way.
change that moment.
There's
I
no.
can now.
There's no way to undo that, right?
Yeah,
That's
to
correct.
undo it.
The losing part.
Yeah.
You can only go back to the casino and play again, and hopefully not lose, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but then again, being in the casino
This is
is
kind
a
of like how it is. It's
in
like,
there.
you know, life is a gamble, you know,
Okay.
especially in what you do. And this is why now
okay.
I'm helping others more than I am helping myself.
Okay.
And that's why I've opened that agency, because it's like, you know, if you can, you know, if there's something that you want to do in your life, you can do it. And I think that's more on what this generation is about. And that's why I want my kids to flourish. You know, I also want my kids to learn how to work and how
Okay.
to, you know, fend for themselves,
Okay.
obviously, like
Okay.
every parent does.
Okay.
And I guess that's why taking your life, and it's like when I built Magic Studios too.
How
it's
do you
like
not
that
how do
was-
how do you not make your children get spoiled? For example, how do you not spoil your children?
Well, they are.
And what kind of
That's
Well, they
something.
are.
That's
First
something
of
as a
all-
parent you can't stop.
no
you know?
but how do you teach them adversity? Because spoiling is the opposite. Maybe not
Some resilience or something like
not
that.
like grammatically is not probably the direct translation, but
Yeah.
spoiling them is the opposite of giving them the
opportunity.
life tools, right?
Yeah, well, I
because
mean, it's
spoiling
like-
them means they'll probably think that life is always like this, and I always get what I want.
And then they
That's
get the
spoiling,
shock.
right?
Yeah,
But
that is
so
spoiling.
how do you teach them adversity?
Well, I think it is more over of like if my kids want something, you know, like it's not like I want that, I get that, I see that, I want that.
Okay,
It's
okay.
like, you know, as much as a parent in the younger stages of life, they're always.
How old
like-
are your kids, by the way?
My son is 6 and my daughter, she's 11.
Okay.
So you know,
I think that's a
like-
relevant question
and,
too,
and
right?
it's good because even my eldest is teaching the youngest
Okay.
Yeah.
the things as well.
So-
but
so
I'm
at
not saying
that-
that
so-
my eldest is 100% perfect, but that's the thing, you know, like with parenting, you know, I think that's what they need. They rely on us, and it's like if they go shopping for toys, it's like they can't have that, but they
Okay.
understand that the paper that's exchanged for that toy is of work, of
Okay.
hard work.
Okay.
And now my kids are like, "Can I have paper?" And it's like, you know, like, well, Jarvis especially, Belle knows what it is now, but like, you know, "Can I have that paper?" And it's like, you know, if you want that paper, clean up your toys.
Okay.
Or, you know, you give them
Yeah.
that kind of like job to do. And then when they understand that they get a good result from doing little things around the house, can you get me a
Yeah.
C2 from the fridge? Or can you help mommy? Or can you help, you know, we
Your
always,
sister?
it's all about praising them
Mhm.
and making that moment extra energy. Like, wow, it's like teaching a dog how to paw. And every time they try to do it, you give them a reward.
Reinforcement.
And that's what they see in I think that's how I've been implementing it. And also, you know, like you just kind of have to really be strict, even though your body's saying no. You know, as a parent, you're always going to give in, like, oh, that is. And now I have an arcade, and it's like I look at things differently now. It's like
I'm curious, how do you
Kids have fun.
how do you make your kids not think that everything is I know this is too early for your children because they're only 6 and 11, right? But how do you teach them that life is not transactional? Because what you just taught them there is like a transaction, right? You do this for me and I'll do this for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, it's probably too early for a 6-year-old or a 11-year-old to teach this kind of lesson. But how do you think is the best way to teach kids that life is not necessarily just all transactional, that you only get to do
Well, my method is let your kids download Microsoft Excel at the age of 6 and learn how to do accounting.
Okay.
You know, because that's the best way to do it. If you're
no,
going
no,
too
but,
soft.
but yeah, it applies to business. But
Of course.
but
And I
life is
think
not all business, right?
that's what it is,
So
Jiggy, I
so
think.
my question is, how do you teach your kids that life is not all transactional?
Well, I guess
So do you?
I guess it's because, you know, like
So I think the bigger question is: do you think that life is all transactional? It's always about do this for me and do this for that, or are there?
I think in the
are there-
generation that we're
are
in
there
now,
parts
yeah.
of life that are not transactional?
Of course. No. Like for me, I believe that everything is money orientated and transactional, and
Okay.
everything has to be survival.
Okay.
And the generation we're living in now, especially, it's like the cost of inflation prices and
Okay.
salary prices not
Okay.
increasing. Obviously, you know,
Okay.
everything has to be taught, and the education system
Yeah.
here in the Philippines for children is a lot more advanced and a lot more in depth than any other country.
Really
because
now?
My kids are walking around talking about the human anatomy, and I'm like, what is that? You
You
know,
know that at their age.
you know, and it's like the kids are really, and their grades are really good, and they know like the full photosynthesis.
So wait,
of a
wait,
flower.
wait. So you still don't know where to pee pee? You still don't know where?
I'm just saying.
What?
I'm just saying. I think Belle was learning all this when she was much younger, and I'm like, whoa,
knows
slow
already.
down, cowboy. But you know, that's what it is. You know, and that's why we have so many talented people here
Okay,
in the Philippines,
okay.
and I think that's the lesson. The strict lesson
Yeah.
is to, you know,
The
is-
life is transactional.
I believe so.
Okay. Okay, that's
I believe
that's
so.
an interesting way of looking at the world. But yeah, that's your point of view. How do you feel about that, Justine?
Well-
how do you? Yeah, you obviously are still quite young. How old are you, if you don't mind?
24.
24. Okay, and you were raised by your parents well. But how do you think? How do you? Because what Kuya Magic is just demonstrated to us is that life is a series of transactions,
Yeah.
right? You do this for me,
Yes.
I do this for you.
Unavoidable, yeah.
Yeah. So, but their kids are too young to understand that life isn't all that, or maybe life is all that for Kuya Magic, and he wants their kids to feel
learn
like
that.
that. But ikaw, Justin, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know, I always like listening to stories about parents talk about their kids and
Yeah.
how they're gonna how they raise it and how
Yeah.
they transform their lives. We Magic, you and Miss Bianca have two really beautiful children. No, that really look like them. Like us, look like a mix of them both.
It better look like them.
It's better, really a mix of them both. And I always find it interesting to hear about like your stories and even Jiggy's stories
Okay.
with Vaughn and Summer.
Okay.
On like how they've been able to teach them world values, life values. Know that sometimes you can only do your absolute best, and it's really up to them to like grasp that lesson.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So in the
How,
sense,
how do you
of-
feel about that, Justine?
Yeah. So in
about
the
that
sense
question.
in the sense of like trying to teach your kids that the world is not fully transactional. And Kuya Magic's example would be like, you know, to give them a specific goal for them to reach, and when they reach that, and there's a reward. So that's reinforcement of a certain behavior, so that they understand like, oh, what's good and what's bad.
Okay.
But then I actually can't answer the question if I can't understand or like answer the question if I were to ask myself, is life really transactional? Because for the most part it is. That's the reality of the world.
Okay.
You need to give, you need to take.
Everyone is
Survival.
working. Everyone is
Okay.
working.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Everyone
what it is, here.
working, and
Okay.
part of human nature is to survive, to thrive.
Mhm.
But on one hand also there's so much more to purpose that
course, yeah.
has to do with, you know, life is more than also
A transaction, right?
more than
Yeah.
transaction. So I don't in terms of how I was taught na lang siguro, how I was raised, I'm glad that I've dealt my fair amount of like hardship and my fair amount of struggles, even as simple as like trying to do schoolwork, because although it's a transaction in a way that, okay, you get good grades, there's a reward. Like if I get good grades, then I probably like
You pass.
you pass. You get to go to a better university.
And you can
You have more
You can
opportunities.
become a lawyer. Yeah,
you can be accepted
yeah.
to law school
Yeah.
because you worked hard.
Yeah.
So again, that's a transaction in itself
yeah.
because you're working towards a goal.
Yeah.
But then behind all that, under all that transaction,
You're working for a transactional-less
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Kana,
Yeah.
you're
But
working.
you're
for
working for it. And I mean, like, another thing as well, sorry to interrupt, but like, I have a friend who's a doctor, and I'm like, he's working every single day, hardly gets a day off, and every time that he's with me or with friends and family, he's always sleeping.
Okay.
And it's like, dude, it's like, you know, like, you need to calm down. It's like, yeah, well, it's going to be a reward at the end of
Okay.
the rainbow.
Okay.
You know, like, so I guess life has to be transactional at the beginning for me because you have to get to that point so you can live comfortably. Yeah, if you want to have fun, go to the bars, go to the hotels, go on a holiday, go to Disneyland, go to Vegas, wherever you want to go. You have to work for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to get to that point, I
Okay.
guess you have to learn all of those lessons of being transactional. I'm not
Okay.
saying like life as a whole should be like that until the day that you
and you
die.
should be focused only on that.
And focus on those things to get to where you are.
That's true. And in what you mentioned earlier about wanting to help people, you said like you're at this stage now where you're wanting to help other people.
And it works, and you implement what you've learned, and if someone listens to you, and especially your children, they will grow up to be the perfect. Well, I mean, there's no one in this world is perfect because
But close to that.
close to the right track. you
Good
know,
good
flourish like.
human beings. Let's just say good human beings,
Yeah.
right?
Good humans
Yeah.
beings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my parents would always tell me, if you want to not only be someone, if you want to help other people, you have to be like somebody, you gotta you can't expect, like, for example, you wanna, because for the longest time when I was younger, I wanted to open like a non-profit, something like that,
Okay,
like a
okay.
charity. And they were like, how do you expect to do that when you don't have money? The world is transaction. How do you expect to do that when you, like, for example, you're gonna quit school, you're not gonna study? I'm not saying that everyone who quits school and doesn't study will not be able to reach like magnificent feats, good ba, and be able to like start a non-profit and all that, but
One of the richest and greatest people in the world are not
are not graduates,
college
even.
graduates, right?
Exactly. But then, hard work and the transactional kind of life, that's found in so many different aspects.
Correct, yeah.
So like, how do you expect to help people if you yourself, you can't provide for yourself?
Yeah.
For example,
Exactly.
something like that.
Yeah.
How about you,
So-
Jiggy? What do you think?
What do you think?
What's your question?
about
that?
life being transactional?
It is true. Life is a series of transactions. We just don't look at it like that sometimes because, we want to feel like we're better people. We're better than that. We're better than this. But life is really a series of transactions. I can't think of anything that's not a tit for
Yeah.
a tit for tat. There's even in the most lofty goals of life. You be a good person and you go to heaven. That's a transaction. There is a crux. There's a thing that you need to do to get to a thing, right? Nothing in this world is
It's
not
free.
is tit for tat. Is nothing in this world is given. You've got to work for it,
Betul.
right? So yeah, life is like you said is all transactional. But I think what I was driving at is how do you make your kids do things without thinking of a kind of payment reward, right? How do you let them how do you let them do things for the sheer joy of doing things, right?
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
You can only do
because
so much.
because
yeah.
I think, my God, one of the greatest illusions of humanity is that there's like a rainbow at the end, right? There's like a thing,
pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
There's like a thing that we're working for.
Towards.
Yeah, but I think in many ways we can discuss that in another show. That's a delusion because I think just to be able to breathe is beautiful, right?
Of course, yeah.
Just to be able to participate in this thing called life, just to be able to talk to the two of you, man, that's beautiful, right? And I think
It's transactional as well.
well, not. Maybe that's the part that's not right because
Okay.
maybe now it's
Because we're in
transaction.
the moment.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like we could have this conversation elsewhere, right? And
So-
it,
so
it, it still be as beautiful. So
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I probably teach my kids is just to be able to live in the moment, is to be able to
Be mindful.
to be mindful, to understand how lucky you are to just
Be grateful.
to exist, and everything is just like a transaction. But like for you to be here is
Yeah, just like when I had my accident on my motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's like I lost
Oh
all
my
my
goodness,
I lost all
yeah.
my money. It got stolen from me, but I was still alive. So
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
life is way more important.
yeah.
By the way, are you like fully healed from that now? You don't.
I was fully healed until I fell over on the hill up on the way up.
What?
I slipped on the rain.
Life is not only a series of transactions for Kuya Magic, it's also a series of disasters.
An
Yeah.
accident.
I don't know what's happening to me. I think the wife's getting worried.
What is that? What is that movie? A set of unfortunate events. What is that?
Series of
it's a
unfortunate
series of
events,
unfortunate events. but
I'm
that's
so sorry to laugh about that. It's actually funny.
yeah. But what happened to you? What we slipped? Where? When? Who?
I was walking up the hill
Okay.
here, and
Okay.
I was like, "Shee, good morning, everyone," and slipped.
Oh my God! So anyway, Kuya Magic talked about
Oh my
his
goodness.
his baby called the Playfair. Tell us about what is happening over there, Kuya Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Playfair is really.
Well, what is Playfair?
All right, Playfair is a hybrid arcade of carnival games and arcade machines.
Did you say carnivore games?
carnivore games? Yes, we eat meat. So,
You get and you get eaten.
well, actually,
You
you know,
lose,
like
get
for
eaten.
us there in Playfair, it's kind of like I'm there pretty much every single day in the afternoons when we open around
Okay.
4 p.m.
All right.
and
Just
just
you open at 4.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
So I was just looking at the faces of people walking in, and they're like, "Wow."
So what can you do there? If I drive all the way up here to Busai to Tops, right? and I go to Playfair, what exactly should I do? What's the first thing that I should do?
Well, the first thing you should do is get some tokens, actually, because
Okay.
all of our machines are tokens, and
Okay,
it's 10
token-
pesos a token.
Okay.
We're going to be having some special offers very soon, so
Okay.
you can like do some.
So what are the games that I can play there?
Right. Well, the games in terms of carnival games is like we have the ring toss, where you have to get the ring on the bottle, and then
Okay.
we have holy roller, which is where you have to roll the ball into a red or a gold to win a prize.
Okay.
We have beat the bar, which is where you can hang.
Beat the bar. Okay.
Yeah, if you can hang for 2 minutes, you
Okay.
win a grand prize. And then we have
Okay.
our NBA shootout,
Oh, okay.
which is our grand prize is PlayStation 5,
Wow.
and
Oh my
Nintendo
God.
Switch,
Okay.
and other great fantastic prizes. And then we have other games like the
I know.
Pokey Sling,
Oh, okay.
which is
the
like
what?
a
The
slingshot.
the
It's called
monkey
Pokey
sling?
Pokey Sling,
Okay.
where you have to shoot a ball and knock down targets.
Okay.
And then we have Leapfrog and Blockbuster, which are games where you have to knock all the blocks off the platform to win a prize.
Wow. Okay.
And then we have a series of claw machines,
Kinda-
racing machines,
claw
basketball machines, and we have lots of stuff for kiddies.
Okay.
Kiddie rides. So
okay.
and we just started construction on the bar,
Okay.
and we've also going to be opening the.
Did you say
kiddie
did you say
soft
bar?
lane. Yes.
Like bar like alcoholic beverages bar?
Alcoholic beverages
Oh.
bar.
Where's it gonna be?
Wow.
It's going to be inside Playfair, just around the corner where the cashier is.
Okay.
And then we have a soft play area that will
Mhm.
be opening in
Okay.
the first quarter, hopefully. So parents, if you want to have a romantic dinner, you can leave your kids with us, and we will take good care of them.
So
Don't worry, you're with Koya Magic, and if you listen to this interview, you know that I'm all to the book.
Okay.
okay, so that opens 4 p.m. No, 4 p.m. to-
So
4 p.m., yeah,
I'm
3 p.m. on
I'm
weekends.
curious, K Magic. Can I just go
Yes.
straight to
Playfair?
Playfair?
Yes,
I-
indeed.
is it free or is there like an entrance fee, just like if I go to Tops?
It's free, absolutely free
Okay.
to go in. There is no minimal token charge.
Okay.
There's no overhead. There's nothing. It's free to walk in. So feel free to take as many pictures as you want.
Cool.
And yeah, we've got a lot of new things on the way as well. We've got over 15 new machines that are on the way to us. So we've
Okay.
got actually, I think one of the machines is a Philippines first. So I can't really talk about that too much. But if
Oh,
you like
man.
thrill-seeking ride, yes.
Then that's a clue.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
very
excited for that.
expensive thrill-seeking ride that you might see in Singapore and in holiday places. But I can't go into too much information
okay,
about what it
sige.
is, but it's going to be a Philippines first. And yeah, so we're really excited. So come and see us. We're as you walk out of the entrance to Tops, just look in front of you to the right. You'll see a big Playfair sign. And if you're coming into Tops, just look to your left. Yeah, and come in and see us. Come and say hi, and come and try and beat the bar, which no one's done yet.
What?
No one's done the 2 minute.
No one's done the 2 minute. The
Oh my
bar
goodness.
is
I would think
unbeatable.
2 minutes is actually pretty quick, but maybe Jiggy can do it because Jiggy's been doing a lot of.
Oh, Jiggy can do it one finger.
No,
2 hours without no break.
Are you kidding me?
Exercise. Jiggy's an
Actually,
exercise guy.
actually, Vaughn was telling me
He tried.
that he was practicing
Okay.
2 minutes because
Watch out,
he
watch out.
he wanted to win. What was that? PlayStation? Is that what you said?
For the NBA shootout, so for the basketball.
For the bar.
For the bar is a giant,
Plushie?
giant plushie, huge Pokemon, Gengar, Bulbasaur.
Has,
Charmander.
has anybody won that?
As far as I know, no one has beat the bar, but we have a scoreboard system now that's launched. So if you get any high scores, you actually get a photo taken, and then you get put on the
like a
board.
Hall of Fame.
Like a Hall of Fame, yeah.
Smart. Okay, I'm gonna start training for that. I want the plushies.
And
start
yeah,
training.
we're also going to be launching quite possibly the largest lucky duck in the Philippines. Hopefully, we're going to try and get
The
that
what?
one right.
The
The largest lucky duck.
What is that?
What's
It's a bunch of rubber ducks in a big, huge swimming pool, and you have to catch as many as you can.
Oh, with the pole.
And with the
like
pole.
Like a magnetic pole, right?
Yeah, and then you add the numbers up, and then if the numbers reach a certain number, you win the grand
Largest.
prize.
So you're planning to have the largest lucky duck in the.
Well, I think so
Philippines.
because when we when we placed our order for lucky ducks, I think we added an extra 0 to the end of our order. So yeah, we've
Welcome,
got a
guys.
lot of
Oh, that's gonna
a
be
lot of rubber
interesting.
ducks in
When can we
Playfair.
expect this?
Hopefully
Magic?
this weekend.
Oh, okay, guys.
So
that's gonna be perfect for Sinulog weekend. If you're wondering where can I take
yes.
my family out, especially after the
Come to
festivities.
Tops.
Come to Tops, guys. Kung
Enjoy the view.
busy na kayo ang city after you've done your mga novenas, after you've done mga masses, and wala pa ni start on Mardi Gras and whatnot for the weekend. If you're looking for things to do, come to Tops. Bring your family and your loved ones to play fair. And
Yeah.
see all the new and exciting stuff that they have to offer.
Yeah, in fact, actually, there's a lot of exciting things that are going to be popping up over the whole year here in Tops. So
Yeah.
make sure you follow the Facebook page of Tops.
Kana.
And also make sure you follow TMC, Tops Media
Kana.
Center, on Facebook, because I'm pretty sure TMC is going to be the first people to announce these new things.
Oh,
So
yeah,
make
for
sure that you're following us on our social medias. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, Kuya Magic, we're glad to have you. A lot of the viewers have been looking for you, and hopefully for the sort of the rest of the week when we have our topics, you know.
Okay.
It's interesting to hear from you as well.
So funny. I just noticed two things that you say a lot. You don't only say in town. You also say kana.
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 Iba ko sa nang kana.
Oh, I'm diba?
Kanang lalaki nga puti Amerikano. Kano man na iba kano.
Oh.
Kano Amerikano kano,
Ka-
diba?
kano, oh.
Kanang babae nga
Americana.
Amerikano,
Kana.
Amerikana kana.
Kana.
Means-
Asam ka nakatuon ng kana sa
You
Justin.
know, I only started saying that when I started hosting here on Top of the Morning.
Really?
Regularly, when someone says something, I'll be like, yeah. Right,
I've been
right.
saying ba a lot.
Ba, I know,
I've
right?
been saying
yeah.
ba a
Yeah,
lot.
like that ba.
Yeah.
Ba.
Yeah.
Ba.
Parehara nagpo.
Pero I feel like kana man good is a way for me to, as you mentioned here on Top of the Morning, we're trying to really reconnect with our roots.
Okay.
Eh, Bisaya man tang dako, and we're always
Okay.
speaking English.
Okay,
So I
okay.
try to incorporate that. I don't say like right. I'm always gonna say kana.
Kana. Ani ang atong oras karon kay alas 12:03 na. Kana.
Yeah.
Mangadto na ta.
And if you
Wala
add an
na.
N to it, it's kanan.
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 Asa man ang kanan?
Right.
Rice?
So-
No, kanon is rice.
Kanan kalawa. It's
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Bitaw no kanan. Okay, kanan kaliwa.
sus, my goodness.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Kapilosopo po na ning Kuya Magic.
Yeah,
eh.
he knows his stuff. He's learning.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. This is us for today.
Why is
Again,
TMC not on one? Oh, did you read that question out already?
yeah, so TMC is not on 105.1 for the
Yet.
past few days.
Okay.
As Jiggy mentioned earlier, we're always trying to improve and
Yeah.
reconfigure some things. So they're moving the antenna
The,
somewhere here at Tops para mas wider.
That's transmitter.
Sorry, rather transmitter, because we're trying to widen our reach. So again, better things are coming for TMC. Let's wait. Hopefully within the week,
Yeah.
we'll be back on the radio. But for now, join us on our lives. Share our
Yeah,
lives.
please do.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow
Have
na pod.
profound and shallow conversations
Both.
at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It's always nice to go shallow and go deep also
Oh, yeah,
at the same
for
time.
sure.
Right? It's a good place to be, right? Kuya Magic?
That's right.
Yeah. And I don't know how we ended up talking about parenting, but that was a nice twist, right?
Was that just when I walked in?
Yeah, I know. No, but we
Oh,
were
he's a parent. There's
No, because Jiggy's always talking about like life lessons and stuff. So we
Yeah.
connect it to whatever our
Yeah,
topic is.
and the reason why I love talking about that, not because I know a lot, it's because I want to learn a lot, and I think learning is the one of the few things that are a constant.
Of course,
In
you will
life.
die not learning everything.
Yeah,
Everything is always changing.
I know.
yeah.
Don't tell anybody that.
The secret.
I don't think they can hear me when I whisper.
Just
So I have to whisper loudly.
stay tuned for. Are you doing your show today?
Yeah, we're doing the Magic Hour today, so
Stay tuned.
stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, we won't be on YouTube due to copyright issues, but we will be on topsmediacenter.com. So for all of you listeners, which was an amazing month last month, 36,000 listeners last month. Wow! So you guys, the number is just increasing and increasing. So thank you so much for being there, and Magic Hour is coming up, so stick around
Stay
on
tuned.
topsmediacenter.com. Sheesh.
Bye bye and
Bye, guys.
Bye guys. Stay tuned to do it again tomorrow, top of the morning with Jiggy Juice.
And Justine Arvios.
Koya Magic.
And stay tuned for the Magic Hour coming up next on 105.1 TMC.
Bro, there's
Oh,
something.
karon na. Oh no, we just
You know what? I forgot to do something. I forgot how to do something. This one ba?
Sorry.
Diba? Open playlist, right? How do I